So, as you know, the last time you were traveling to the mine to fulfill your contract as a rite of passage into a pretty much the thieves guild, I guess you could call it, or like pretty much a gang in
Yeah.
Medford. And you have to acquire a debt from the owner of the mine of 250 gold, and if possible, find or steal something extremely valuable that he found in the mine, but nobody knows what it is. You have traveled and slept like you've traveled for 2 days, slept 2 nights. You're on your third day and should be able to reach the mine by about nightfall ish. And you kind of broke a guy's wrist and almost killed a second guy.
I don't know what you're talking about, Andrew.
Oh yes, you definitely
I
didn't roll seven
I live I
ones.
I
live in I live in a life
I
of
don't recall
denial.
that.
I don't recall that.
No, not at all. That's a
That was just a bad dream.
very bad dream.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted
The,
to
the
before we
fox, the fox that almost passed us. Yep, that was a bad dream.
trying to figure. I can't figure out the stupid thing where your dice were always rolling like doubles when you used the character sheet. I did it one other day, but I don't remember what I did. Hmm.
What is it?
Like when you click on say like a stat within your character sheet to roll a dice for it, it rolls two when it should roll one. Oh, there it is. Uh,
What?
Advantage toggle. Yes, that's what I needed to do. Okay, so now if you click on your character sheets
Yes.
and say
What did
you
you do?
want to roll, say, a short sword attack, you can go down to your short sword and click it to make the roll, and it'll roll the dice for you with your bonus.
Holy sh!
And then if you want to do damage, it says, say, short sword beneath it. You can just click that and it rolls the damage.
Uh, whereabouts is my short sword? Is it
It's
in
like
the
in the
inventory?
middle, like a couple boxes down.
In the middle, a couple of boxes down. Is it in like actual character sheet? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just above your inventory.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
And then if you want to roll like a check, like if I say roll intimidation, you can just click to the left of that, like the intimidation or whatever thing it is. So you don't need to remember what you need to
Acrobatics.
roll. You
Bam!
can just roll it.
Just roll a 20. Just wasted a 20 roll.
That was 16 plus 4 to make it 20. So the only way it's a crit is if it shows up green.
Okay.
And the only way it's a critical fail is if it shows up red.
So if like, for example, if I want to do medicine, I can just click the medicine one and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot easier.
it's a lot better than the previous way of doing things.
Oh.
Yes.
So you don't need to remember, and then I don't need to remember, and keep your sheet open just to work it out.
I
What?
have my sheet open in a different
Yeah.
window.
I have a different version of this opened as a player in a different window, which I'm going to test if it can see what I roll now.
Oh my god. Oh, backup. Before I forget,
Yeah.
Friday, reversing. If you're keen to
Uh.
come back,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll try get it in the shed this time.
Oh yes, I will add on your experience points that you got. You're 10 each.
Level up.
No, you
No.
need 300 to level up. Oh yes, and you can use offhand attacks. So like if you wanted to say you like dual wield,
Yeah.
you can dual wield. It's just that instead of, say, getting the bonus, I would need to look it up, but it's either you don't get the bonus to hit or the bonus damage, or you just don't get bonus damage. Do
Okay.
not remember which way around it is. But I could check if either of you actually want to, like, say, dual wield daggers or a short sword and a dagger.
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll have to worry about that. Maybe tonight. We'll see.
If you decide to that you would like to dual wield, then I will look it up. But not right now. So it is the morning of your third day of travel. You've sent Thomas and William, who are slowly
Are
injured,
dead. I
dragging
mean, I don't know who you're talking about.
yes,
Who?
dragging the other on a
Who?
stretcher back to town. You've let them go, and what do you want to do now? You've just defeated two seemingly idiotic commoners.
Okay, well, I think we should have eat half of today's rations,
Indeed.
Yes.
and then move off at a pretty advanced pace to try to get to make sure that we get to the tin mine by nightfall.
Indeed. So, do you want to travel the whole day just to get there? Or do you want to rest any time along the way?
No, we'll travel the whole day.
Okay, so as you're just traveling along, are you gonna keep following the road like you were before? Or do you wanna be more stealthy about your approach?
We
You
shall
could-
travel the road for half the day,
And then when you get
and
close,
then
go off?
when we get closer, we'll move off the road.
Okay. So as you're traveling along the road, breathing in the scent of the pines, you can start to see the pine trees. They're not as densely packed in a forest anymore. They're starting to thin out as you can see the mountains beginning to loom up in the distance in front of you. You're getting very close. Nothing's happened along the road. No more commoners or bandits have tried to attack. Everything has been pretty peaceful for the first half of your journey. So,
Nice.
for the second half, you want to go off the road.
Yes.
You will both need to make some survival rolls for your off-road tracking abilities.
Where the hell? Oh, damn.
Okay.
Oh. So, as you're traveling along, Barrick begins to kind of wander off the wrong direction, not heading like directly where you think the mine is. But luckily, Carrick is pinpointed on the peak of the mountain through the trees
This
and
way.
steers you both towards the where you actually need to go.
Yay.
Eventually, the sun is starting to set behind the mountain, and you can see a bit of smoke rising up from the base of the mountain, and a small flicker against its surface in the distance. Is there anything you want to discuss or talk about as you're traveling to the mine?
Wait, say that again. So are we at the base of the mountain or halfway
You're
up it?
pretty close to the base of the mountain.
Oh, we're pretty close
And
to the base. And then there's
not
a
that
fire.
far up the mountain, you can see a bit of smoke and a little like flicker of light against the mountain itself.
Okay. Well, obviously we can't waltz in there like a bunch of retards. So, Barrack, should we circle around?
Hmm. This could be risky. I think our best bet's probably to try to get some high ground overwatching the tin mine and see if we can see anything before complete darkness.
So do you want to keep advancing onto the...
We'll do like a flank.
We'll just try to get. Is there? What way does the tin mine? Is it in like a hollow?
Hold
Like
on. Invasion.
Dead. Dead.
Okay,
Oh.
so is it a hollow wood?
is the tin mine in like a hollow part of a mountain, like with mountains on each side?
Both of you
or-
roll some perception to like...
Da-da-da-da-da.
At this point you can just see the smoke, but let's see if you can see any
Wait,
more.
where is perception? Oh,
It's
Ish.
above performance.
Should be an
below
alphabetical
nature.
order. Okay, so trying to peer through the trees as best you can. From the base of the mountain, you can see there's a small, winding, rocky path that goes maybe a few hundred feet up the side of the mountain to a little, like, there's some buildings down at the base of the mountain, like right at the foot of the cliffs, and a little path winding up the side of the mountain to a couple more small buildings where the smoke itself is coming from and you can see the light. There are like cliffs across from it, so you could say go slightly further south. Actually, I could probably show you on the map, kind of. So if you zoom in,
Is it that wee hill bit that's
so the mine,
just below the end of the path?
can you see the yellow dot?
Oh yes. Yeah.
So the yellow dot is where the mine would be, like,
Oh, yeah.
up, like there'd be a little town like there, and then a path going up into the mountain. So you could say go slightly more southeast up onto this hill and look in. You'd still be quite far away, but you could get a good look down into the town and the entrance to the mine. Weather and brightness permitting. It is starting to get dark, but if you're quick, you would be able to get there before it's too dark.
Oh,
think?
speed.
I'd say that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So who's gonna lead the way towards this hill?
Well,
Because I rolled better, probably me.
yes, I shall.
If you want,
I
you
shall
could either just one of you roll, you both roll, as you're both trying to find your own way, or say one person could be at the front and they roll, but the other person could be helping them, so they roll twice and pick the better one.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with the.
Since neither of you are
Carrick-
better, just one of you.
Carrick, you can lead, and I will.
Right, okay. So
assist.
I've got to roll survival
So-
twice?
Now what you can do here is, you see at the top of your sheet,
Yeah,
there should be a thing that's got like advantage, disadvantage.
yes.
If you click advantage, then make the dice roll. It'll roll the 2 dice for you. And then you just click off advantage again.
Oh,
Okay,
damn!
so with the assistance of Barrick, you pick like the best, easiest trail through the trees as the
Those are
trees begin
raw
to
as well,
end.
they're not modified.
You're hopping across rocks, skipping over them, making some good time.
I'm gonna
Like
miss
pretty
that
much going
one.
at a good solid jog because there's nothing really like in your way or bothering you. And a good time before it gets dark, you manage to get to that little peak to look down into the mining camp.
Yay.
So now that you're there, what do you want to do?
We shall survey the area for making a plan of.
Yes, roll some more perception. See what you can see.
Where the hell?
Remember to untick the advantage thing. Ah, yes, there you
Hmm.
go. Okay, so looking down from the mountain, you can see at the base of the mountain there is a small village with a couple fires going, some smoke rising from the chimneys of houses. There's a few dots you can see moving about that look like just some villagers walking around among their houses. There's about a couple of dozen houses maybe. Well, maybe like 2 dozen houses. And then a small winding path working its way through the rocks, maybe about 300 to 500 feet up the cliff, winding back and forth. It's a really rocky path. You'd say a cart might be able to make it up, but it would probably get stuck. And as the path winds its way up, there's like a small, like flattened clearing part. Like, I'm trying to think of how I would describe it. But just think like a bit of the cliff is like kind of jutting out, so it's flatter than just a sheer cliff. And that's where you can see the entrance to the mine, a couple more buildings, and a campfire with a decent sized plume of smoke rising from it.
Okay.
There are a couple figures silhouetted around the fire, but it doesn't look like that many. You can't really see much else from where you are.
Not much then.
So what is your next move? Or do you want to say anything while you're up there?
Doesn't
I would-
look too heavily guarded.
Yes, and should be able to sneak in under the cover of night, hopefully.
Are there people? Does it look like the people that are up at the mine around the fire are like sort of leaving to go to the village, or does it look
No,
like they're
they're
kind of
just looks
They're
more like
guards.
they're just hanging out at the fire. It's hard to tell from the distance. You're having to squint a little bit.
Hmm. Carrick, what do you think the game plan should be here? We did
say we
come
wait.
to collect the debt. So, my thoughts are we could wait till the morning and go into town and try to get the debt off the miner manager, or we could wait for nightfall, move in, try to infiltrate into the mine to see what treasure he's dug up.
I like the infiltration one.
Yes.
So what is the
I-
plan?
I fancy our odds here.
The plan is to wait till
Wait a couple of hours.
Can wait, you know the sort of cobblestone rough sort of road or whatever that goes
Yeah.
up to them?
The little path.
What how sort of covered is it? Like could we advance up now with it being not really that dark without being seen?
If
like,
you were
has it got-
very careful, you probably could. It is quite open, but there are rocks that look like they cover parts of the path. And it is quite steep. It's one of those paths that kind of like, goes back and forth as it goes up.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So the higher you go up,
Um,
it'll be harder to see from the bottom.
Carrick, I think our best plan is to get off this mountain now when it's good and light. We'll wait at the bottom until nightfall and then push on the mine as it gets darker.
Okay. Let's go with that.
Okay. So, what is the plan?
We are going to climb down the mountain that we're on now and basically just chill out at the bottom, eat our other half of the rations.
Yep.
Maybe, rest a wee bit, if take a wee nap. And then prepare to move in once nightfall has come.
Okay, so you get down Do you want to set up a type of camp, or just
No.
rough it in the dark?
No, just rough it in the dark.
Okay, so you get down, you find a nice wee spot in the sparse trees, not that far from where you were, but you could still see the village and the smoke and light from the mine up above. And you just want to take your food, then sit and rest.
Yep.
Okay. While you're there, we'll roll some perception just to see what's going on. See what you see in your
Oh,
surroundings.
balls. I don't
Okay,
think
so it really doesn't seem like anything else has changed so far. As it's starting to get darker, you're beginning to see less and less of the village and the mines, other than the slight flicker of the flames. But it is almost completely dark. Darkness has fallen.
Nice.
This,
Um,
at this point, now that you're closer to the village, you can smell the smoke in the air. And there's a hint of what you would at a guess what you would say is bacon drifting on the wind,
Bacon.
filling your nostrils, making your mouths water at freshly cooked meat.
Oh.
here's the question, Andre. You know the way I have dark common clothes?
Yeah.
If I wear those, does that make me harder to see in the dark?
If there was like a tie of normally you need to say use your stealth to beat their perception. I would say if you were equal, it might help. It might make you harder to spot, so it's better to wear them. I would say you're already like wearing
them.
your dark clothes.
We're stealthy ninja.
No, okay.
So like maybe they're dark greens, dark browns. Doesn't have to necessarily be black.
Oh, okay, okay. Right, well, I shall just put my hood and all on. Well, I still have it on from earlier.
I
Yes.
will do the
So,
same.
and then
You do not have a
visit-
hood, McCoy.
Oh.
It wasn't part of your inventory, but you could buy one.
and
I
I
hood,
think we should start to advance towards the. Can we get round the village to get to the path leading up to the?
It would be a challenge. Like, let's see, I'll do a bit of a drawing up near the top here. So if this is the cliff, say, and the path is going up, the like the village would be
Town is
out.
just at the base.
It's like out like that with little buildings scattered about. So the path is like pretty much in the center, up against the cliff. So there'd be a
I'm assuming there's no walls or anything.
not here
guarding
now.
it? No. Right. Well, I think probably our best bet is to come in from the left-hand side and move along the rock face till we get to the path, or at
Okay.
least inside of the path, and then we'll take another perception check.
Well, as you're sneaking through the darkness to get to the village, you can roll some stealth, but with advantage. So just click the wee advantage thingy. Or you can just roll a second one, my guy.
Oh, whoops.
Because it's so dark. No better. So as you're sneaking along, trying to creep your way up to the village, you're pretty much almost silent. You can, like,
Ninja.
Barrick is, pretty decently stealthy. Like, you're pretty stealthy, but you don't even know that Carrick is there. He's making no noise at all with his steps. And There's no signs from the village. Nothing looks like it's changed. You've snuck all your way up to. You want to be on the left side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you sneak around, get to the left side, up against the cliff, and you're now right on the edge of the village where the houses start. What is your
Okay.
next move?
We take a peek.
I think we can't really hear anything, so
Oh wait, no wait, we're all the way around on the left.
On
yeah,
the
the
left
le-
side.
The left edge. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Carrick, you take the lead.
Okay.
No one should hopefully be traveling the path up to the mine, so if we can get to the mine undetected, we should be able to get up there pretty easily.
Yeah.
Oh,
Andrew, do
I
I need to
will-
roll?
Well, how do
I
you
will.
how do you handle it? Since you're the one taking the lead.
Can I take a well, I want to peek. I'm assuming I'm underneath the cliff face, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to just sort of peek over the edge and have a
Oh,
look
you're
at
like-
this path.
You're like along the
No,
side of the
we're like-
cliff on the
oh,
same
like-
level as the
we're like
On the
kinda
same
just like-
level.
yeah.
Yeah, we're just kind of like, say
Do
the
I see anyone?
mountainside goes up.
Yeah.
We're just kind of like it's nearly like we're standing beside a wall, but the
Pretty
wall's the
much,
mountain.
yeah. So you wanna
So the houses are to our right.
try and
Yeah.
peek through the houses to see if you see anyone in the streets.
Yes.
Okay. Do some perception. Uh
15.
in the dark. Well, you do have elven dark vision.
I see?
So you don't see any people, but there is a pack of dogs, like 3 dogs, sniffing about the streets. Then you just see a rat scuttle across the road, and the 3 dogs go chasing after it into a dark alley. But there's no people that you can see anywhere.
Okay, how far is it to the
From the edge of
path
the town,
to
you've
roughly, like-
probably, well, edge of the village.
Edge
You've
of the
probably got a good, like, 75 to 100 feet to the path.
Okay, that's long enough. Is there much cover between me and there?
Complete darkness, lots of buildings, lots of fences.
We'll do it tactically, cover to cover.
Make your sneaky roll. Are you both going to move at the same time? Or are you gonna go-
I'm
I
gonna.
think I'll take like
stay-
a slight lead, and then he'll
I'm
be
gonna
like,
stay about maybe like 15 meters behind.
yeah.
So, you see a Carrick step off into the dark, and it seems like he almost just disappears by the time he reaches the first building. So, you're actually roll perception yourself to see if you can even see him. To tell where he is,
Me or him?
Jacob, because that's a
Jacob,
really
you-
high stealth roll.
Perception.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll perception, because
Okay, so
high.
he just disappears into the dark.
Okay.
You
fair
can't
enough.
see where he is at all to know how far you are from him. So Carrick has just stepped off. He doesn't like realize you don't see him, but you don't see him at all.
Oh,
So what do the two of you want to do?
I don't know like a bird whistle or anything. Like, oh, actually, no, it's nighttime. There's no
Uh,
birds.
I will just, even though I can't see Carrick, I will just advance at a steady enough pace.
Like wait a couple seconds, then go.
Yeah.
Okay. Make your stealth check to sneak through the town.
Stealth, stealth, stealth. Oh, damn.
Yeah, pretty good. So you yourself wait a couple seconds and then sneak off into the dark after Carrick. And you sneak like fence to fence, box to box, house to house, all the way until you reach the bottom of the path. You're about maybe 20 feet away, and like the path is lit by torches, but they're very dim torches at this point. Like they're almost burnt out because nobody's really going to be going up and down the path at this time of night.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of light showing you where the pathway up the cliff is. How do you want to proceed? You did find each other in the dark, though.
Okay. And how far away from the path?
About
Like
20 feet.
20 feet, so nothing really.
I'm just I'm filled with confidence, so I'm just gonna kind of just walk over to the path and then just start walking up it.
Yeah,
Not,
I
not
will
even
also do
stealthing,
the
just
same.
walking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just walk out like we own the place.
Let me see here. Gotta check some shit. Flick through the pages. Let's see. Well, as you just get up and start pretty casually and confidently walking towards the path,
Uh-oh.
you
Uh-oh.
hear a slight growl behind you.
Oh, for fuck.
Turn over your shoulder, and one of the scrawnier looking dogs that Carrick saw earlier has chased the rat back out onto the street, and it is like stopped in a low, crouched down growl going "Rrrr." Hasn't
Well,
barked yet.
At the rat or at you?
At yous. It has spotted the two of you and it's starting to go into defensive mode.
I quickly open my bag and throw some of my rations towards it.
Oh. How much of your rations?
Probably about
I'm actually gonna slightly edit your ration thing to make it one ration is £1, so that it's easier to work things out. So you both currently have 8 rations.
I'm gonna throw just to make it easy, like a half ration.
Okay, you'll need to make an animal handling check
Diddle-it-it.
to see how this dog reacts. Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
He is scrawny, so hopefully he will just be like, "Oof."
Yes, I did it as like a contested roll, you against the dog. The dog did lose the roll off, sees the rations rolling up to it, sniffs it, takes it in its mouth, and goes off into the darkness and starts eating. A happy dog.
Wipe the old brow and keep her going.
Right, let's go.
Let's go.
So do you re-stealth for going back up?
Yeah, let's walk a wee bit more carefully.
Oh, I have accidentally archived something. Hold on. Okay, so gotta stealth your way back up the path.
Yep.
For the rougher terrain, you're gonna have to make some more stealth, since it's not as simple as walking through the town. Pretty good. Also pretty good. So you start to make your way up the pathway. It's a pretty well-worn path where the rocks have been like chipped and mined away to make it easier. So you sneak your way up in the darkness pretty easily. There's no signs that anyone has spotted you at all. And within a couple of minutes, you're reaching
Oh.
you're reaching the top of the path. So see these guys in the bottom left? Or the bottom right?
Oh, bottom right, that's us.
Yes, that is you. So Jacob, you're the green one, and Macaulay is the red one.
We got a guy with a crossbow.
Yes, so just hold on a second.
Allah. Okie dokie.
I'm trying to, oh there we go, fix Jacob's rations. So as you creep your way up to, you're not actually this close, by the way. This is just to show that's
Yeah.
where you're coming from. But as you creep your way up to the top of the pathway, there is a pretty flat part on the cliff that's leveled out with a few buildings. You can see some larger buildings up against the cliff itself. The one big one on the right looks a lot like some sort of giant warehouse or storage building, while the second one on the left side looks more like open storage, where there's lots of carts and crates that are full of ore. And since
Okay.
you know it's a tin mine, it's pretty obvious that it's tin ore. And some of it is like some tools, some other boxes that you can't tell what they are. And then scattered around the rest of the clearing, there are a few more houses, but they're all like pretty small huts. Then in the center, there is the glowing campfire with 3 logs around it and 3 men sitting around the campfire, just casually chatting, eating the odd bit. And faintly in the distance, you can see a man pacing back and forth in front of the entrance to the mine with a crossbow.
Lovely.
What do you want to do next? Now, this area is
Uh,
pretty well lit up. There's
right.
torches, there's the campfire, there's quite a lot of light.
Storage area with no horses or anything here? No?
Oh no, not
Ah,
up here.
okay. That's plan I don't. Are we in like a compound? Is this fenced off or just completely open?
No, it's just open to the cliff.
Okay.
How high is this building on our right?
It's probably like a 2-story building.
Right.
About,
We
let's
have
see,
rope.
maybe like 30 feet high, maybe more.
High enough.
Like pretty
Right.
tall. Just
Like,
imagine
can
like
we
a 2-story
can,
warehouse.
can we like edge
Oh.
round? Like, is there? Well, I suppose we'll not really know until we check. If we go to the back of that building, can we go along the other side of it?
You mean up there?
Yeah.
Or that's like up, well, you can't really tell, but that's
Cliff
like
edge.
up tight against the cliff. Like you're not gonna squeeze in
Oh.
there.
No help in there.
But like off to the other sides, like off over here and off over here, there are other smaller buildings that you could hide behind.
Is the storage house a 2-story as well?
It's just like
Open storage.
a couple pillars holding up a roof, and that's it. And that's just full of things like crates, boxes of ore, carts. It's not really super like organized. It's just things thrown in so they're sheltered from the rain.
Right. How much does this campfire and torches and all sort of light up? Like, is it all?
It's pretty
Pretty-
well lit up. Like almost this entire top bit is lit up. The only bits that aren't are where like the back sides of the buildings are in shadows. So
Whereabouts are the houses on the left?
they're like, say like just like the edge of this map. There's just like
Mhm.
maybe a house on either side, or maybe 2 houses on each side. Just a couple little small buildings.
What are they made out of?
They're all made of wood. Everything up here is wooden.
God.
I do have some oil and a candle that would definitely come. Oh, actually, hang on. I've got to light a fire.
Just flint and steel.
Yeah. I suppose you could do that. You wanna set a house on fire? You know, just.
What about the people living in it?
I'll assume this is in whispers to not be
Yes,
heard.
this is in whispers.
Whereabouts does the path come up from where we are? Like, does it look like we could get to the backs of the houses without being seen?
You might be able to. just depends how observant the people in the area are. You can only see these four, which are going to be quite far away from where you actually are. You've maybe got like another 50 feet. Like you're about 50 feet away from where those guys are. So, well, bit more than 50 feet then. You're about 100 feet away from these guys. This is a pretty large, flat area. Well, mostly flat. It's kind of
Okay,
sloped
Clark.
upward.
Where do we go from here?
Here, right. Here is what I'm thinking. We're going to need a solid diversion. This isn't whispers, by the way, Andrew, but it can't be.
Oh,
Can't be
yeah.
arsed.
It's okay. No
Um,
need to whisper.
I think if we could set a fire or something pretty significant to draw out these three men. Hang on, how do you do the wee ping thing?
Yeah, just hold left
Right.
click.
Oh, left click. We can set something up about here. Hopefully in darkness. We flank round. Oh god. Why can't I draw?
Try and use the ruler.
Oh,
It's
here we
the
go,
one
here we
under the
go.
magnifying glass.
Obviously not this close, but if I'm assuming this is all open, we can use this as cover to get as close as possible. I can set a timer on like a building with a candle. It'll go up in flames. We'll move to here, and whenever all this action happens, hopefully this retard comes down to
Now
this.
remember, you're not looking at this in a bird's eye view. So you'll be saying this like, we'll go off to the left, sneak around the buildings to the storage house.
Yes, there'll be cover and open storage, which we can manipulate. Even though it's well lit, there'll be boxes and stuff to hide behind. So,
Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff there to hide behind.
so that would be my idea. Any thoughts, Eric?
It's risky.
This is a high risk, high reward strategy.
If we do this, it might.
Could alert more than
I could
yeah.
alert more than we want to bargain with.
Either that or I throw a rock somewhere and hopefully they're that dumb.
At this point,
Yeet.
from the direction of the mine, you hear a loud echoing boom, like a massive explosion.
Dynamite!
It physically shakes the ground under your feet. This is the kind of thing you've never experienced anything like this before.
Dynamite.
Almost
What?
like an earthquake. No one else that you can see. Roll perception, just to see. You know.
Perception.
Okay,
Ha! I see nothing.
so Barrack can tell that the men around the fire and the one at the door of the mine, they don't seem phased at all. This is like a normal occurrence for them.
How far of a distance is the man sitting at the campfire to the guy that's standing at the mine?
It's
About 45 feet, 50 feet.
50 feet or so.
What is an average sight range?
Oh.
In the light, like he can see as far as there's light that's bright enough. And this whole area, like pretty much this whole map, is pretty brightly lit. So if you were actually standing where you are now, unless you were hidden very well, he would probably spot you, unless he wasn't paying attention properly.
Okay.
Like rolling a really bad roll. Like this
Okay.
fire, I might be able to actually. Can I do a thing with this? I think I can do it with this guy. Trying to, like, if it was like super dark with no light and only like moonlight, this guy could maybe see like that far. But it's pretty bright with all the firelight. This is a pretty big fire. It's not like a wee shitty
Get away.
campfire. It's like more like a bonfire, like a pretty big one.
Okay. Right. I shall
I mean, it's either that or
Eric,
rotate.
I will let you take the lead and on our heads be it.
We're going with the burning plan.
Alright. Should we
I'll do a bit of an extra drawing here to help visualize.
Have we
So,
got any like
we'll say
buildings?
there's a building over there,
Yes.
a building here, one there. You yourselves, where your characters are, this is like kind of where the path would go. So
Got it.
that's like
Okay.
towards the cliff edge. You're about another, maybe at the most 50 feet that direction.
Can we get to the building on the right without going up, obviously, onto this path and over it?
You want to get to this one?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd be able to get there, but you would need to be stealthy about it.
I'm not worried about the stealth element. I'm worried about my prep phase.
Well,
Okay.
Ticking
do
time
do
bomb.
some stealth, and
Alright.
we'll see if you want to move.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll.
Are you both moving or just one?
You could stay there. Like.
I'm gonna move to the left and try. My idea is to flank around the houses on the left hand side to the best of my ability and come out somewhere near the storage house and hide behind some of the.
So you want to get
crates.
into that open storage,
Yeah.
and then Carrick's going to the right at that little building just above you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, as
move him?
I'll just like put you in it for now.
Oh,
So-
that is me. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that is you. So,
I shall
So f-
roll stealth. I'm
Yep.
assuming.
just to see.
Oh my word! He's literally a ninja.
So, you've both, after say a couple minutes of taking things nice and slow, you've both successfully snuck your way behind the select buildings you've picked. But at this point, you're far enough apart that you cannot communicate. So if one of you wants to do something,
It's independent
other
of one
one
another.
can't put in or
Yeah,
interject, no
can't
matter
metagame. Yeah,
no
yeah.
matter how bad it is. So if you think it's a really bad idea, you are kind of fucked because you're split up. Unless like you see it and you just want to fucking yell across the clearing.
Okay.
Alright, well, we're not going to do that, but
So
I-
just to make this a bit easier, I'll get the two of you to roll like initiative, dexterity rolls against each other to see who's gonna go like in which order.
Oh well, We'll answer this right now.
Oh, dear.
All I'm doing is sitting here and waiting.
Oh, you're just
for-
gonna sit and wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, my dexterity save was 6, so lol.
Well, not dexterity save, but do you see like in the middle there's a shield and two squares?
Yes.
You need to click the initiative one.
Oh, you just click initiative.
Yeah, just click the word.
Oh, you click the word.
Yeah, like that. Makes it a lot easier.
Oh, okay, right. Here is Japran. Get behind this house, obviously.
Okay.
I will have to use flask of oil.
Okay, how much
sort
of
of-
flasks do you want to use?
How big is it?
Like the flask?
Yeah, we're talking like a liter oil here, or
Let's take a look at what weight it is. So the flask of oil is 1 pound. So
shit, 1 pound of oil.
what? 1 pound. What actually is?
What's
1
1
pound.
pound in like liters?
Hold on.
Or gallons at least.
I don't know what like actual physical size
We're
that
gonna be
is.
so wrong.
The guy's
Overkill
just
is
carrying like a
underrated.
power worth of oil walking around with him.
Okay, let's see here.
Overkill is underrated.
Milliliters pounds conversion. Okay. So it is 1 pound. So that's 450 milliliters for water. So
for oil's a wee bit lighter. So what, half a liter? Let's just round that up.
Well, say you've got like, like your standard 500 ml water bottle,
Yeah. Okay.
and
Overkill's
you
underrated. We use a lot.
have two of those.
Yes, I will use one. We will
Okay,
use one.
so what are you doing with it?
Oh, hang on a second. I'm back. Sorry, being invaded. It at the back of this house.
Okay.
Obviously, there's timber. I'm assuming there's like a flat floor. I hope that it's sitting on like a foundation or something. This may be irrelevant or not. I don't know. But I want to douse the back of the timber
Yeah.
with a bit of oil, and then have a pool of it just sitting on this flat floor.
Yeah.
Cut the candle pretty significantly down, light the candle, and then there you go. You've got a time infuse. I'm literally doing a Game of Thrones.
Okay.
That is literally. Just imagine that. You know when Cersei blows up the ring?
Wind blows the candle out.
Yes, yes. That's literally what I'm trying to do here. It's a freaking timer.
We'll make this a sleight of hand check
Slide of
to see how effectively you can set it up, because it is okay.
14.
So you've got
Didn't
your oil doused on the back of the house.
Yes.
You've put a little trickling trail out, a little pool. You've roughly judged how far you think it needs to be to give you some time to move or do whatever you want to do next.
Well, it's the candle length that's gonna determine really the time. It doesn't need to be much because
Well, how short do you want to cut the candle?
it takes a candle like an hour. I mean,
We'll say it's like a good 6-inch long candle.
oh no, that's way too long.
So
I was
like,
thinking
how much of that do you want to like cut off to
I was
use?
thinking like 3 inches would be more than enough. It takes ages for a candle to burn.
It does.
Less than 3 inches even. We'll say it's a 2 inch. 2 inch, absolutely no more, because that's got to be like an hour. At maximum, absolute maximum. The candle could blow over in the wind.
Okay,
Fuck the whole
so
thing up.
well, I'm trying to get it all set up. After cutting the candle, setting it down, you've got your little timber box, so whenever you want to light it, you can light away.
Okay, let's fucking light it. Let's go.
Right, so strike your flint and steel. Candle starts to flicker, takes light. Yeah, I was gonna say to roll some sort of check in case your sparks hit off the oil, but that'll be like the one you already did. So your candle is now lit, and it's starting to slowly burn down, starting to melt gradually.
Time to get the hell out of Dodge. That's the plan in action. I will fall back to where I
What
was
direction
previously,
are
and
you going? Use your wee
Oh.
ruler tool.
I want to go obviously this way.
So you
Fall
want to go
back.
like back around the back of the house.
Yeah, back around, and then I want to obviously make my way around
Okay.
and into this same position as.
Roll some stealth. Try and
Oh god,
sneak
this
your
is where
way
it's gonna go
past.
bad. Ooh.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
see how that goes. Let's see. Oh,
Fuck.
so as I'll do it like this. So
How
as
far did
you're
I-
lighting the candle and about to walk off,
Am I not behind the
Beric
camera?
sees two of the men sitting at the fire begin to get up and walk roughly in the direction of the path down. So from your hiding spot, you've seen this.
There's nothing you can do to tell me, like. If I walked out,
Not yet. We're in a little pause in time here. Just as these guys have got up, you're literally about to set foot, like, around this building.
I'm gonna take quick thinking. I'm gonna take out one of my one of my ball bearings
Yeah,
and
Ball bearings?
you both have ball
Ooh.
bearings.
and
Oh, I
try
have 1,000 of them as well. Shit.
try to hit which one of the guy, just whatever guy's still sitting at the campfire.
It's
Try
the
to
green one, this one here.
okay. Try to hit the side of the log that he's sitting beside.
You'll need to roll. Let's see.
Dexterity. Yeah.
Yeah, roll dexterity. Just click on the
Here we
word
go.
dexterity for your dexterity skill.
Uh,
The one with like the 3 and the 17. Just click on the word above it. Nice.
A fine hit.
So your ball bearing shoots out of the open storage area, bounces off the log right beside him. Oh, do some stealth for me. This is gonna be very, very. Okay.
Very good.
So these guys are very good at perception for some reason. So, just so you know, the ones that were trying to spot Macaulay before he steps out, there was an 18, a 3, and a 20. And
Love it.
as your ball bearing bounces off his log, he looks down at it, stands up, and looks over in your rough direction, and shouts out, "Is there someone there?" It's like, "Someone there!"
Someone there.
Someone there.
And the other two.
Someone's creeping about.
And the other two that were about to walk away, like they maybe got like this far, they're looking over and I'm like, huh? Something wrong. This guy here, he's like, huh? He's also looking this way. So this green guy here, he rolled a second 20 on his perception.
For fuck's sake.
So he knows something's going on. We'll now go back to Carrick. You've at this point you've like stepped out like around the
Oh,
corner of the building.
moved. Okay.
This is you like stepping like out just off the map, but they're not looking at you anymore. They're now looking at Beric. And you can see this. You hear this man shout out, "Is there someone there? Who's hiding over there?"
See this.
And they're all looking that way now.
You just,
Right, okay, see
You can
the-
just imagine people in the dirt like, just put an arrow right in the side of his head. Someone there! Someone creeping about!
Yep,
What's this building made out of? Rock, Andrew?
that's also wood.
What's all this?
Okay, I'm gonna have to actually employ the same tactic. So I will use one ball bearing and yeet it. It's gotta be somewhere about here. Either on the edge of this house or some other object or rock over here.
Roll your own dexterity
Here we
check. Okay, so that's a
dexterity,
dexterity
yeah.
save, but it's the same
Oh.
thing. No, actually, it would be a 15 because your dexterity is a +3. So you rolled a 15. Still pretty good. So you
Okay,
throw a ball bearing over, bounces off the side of the building, and
I'm gonna have to get them.
this man down here at the bottom, he looks over, he's like, huh? What was that? And he walks over that way, wondering what's going on.
You fucker.
The other two, you can see the guy in green glance that way, then look back to the guy with the rake, and mutter something under his breath. And he starts walking that way, while these other two are still looking towards the storage. Some more good stealth perception rolls, but not crits.
Okay.
Whew.
So he's
Can
like
I-
right there. Oh, you're gonna try and make a run?
No, I'm not gonna make a run. I'm just gonna ask how. I don't want to make a run, but is there much cover from like where I am off
If
the map
you
from
like
here. Can I get
go
there?
more off the map,
Yeah,
you could
that's
get like just outside the fire's light, and there's more rocks the further out you go. So
well,
you
maybe not.
could try and stealth across if you wanted to.
Yes.
Gonna try
Let's.
and make it.
Risky
Well,
boy.
maybe not make it the whole way to there, but maybe make it halfway.
So do you
I
want to
don't know.
just bolt or sneak it?
I would just sneak the whole way.
So I'll sneak the whole way. I'm
Those-
not freaking running. No way.
No, but you just
Make your
like-
sneaky sneak.
if you're saying like, oh, I want to sneak over to that building, you'll only have to make one roll. But if you sneak to like halfway and then sneak the other way, like you're gonna have to make 2 rolls.
That is true.
Make your sneaky roll.
Oh yes, wait a minute.
As-
Metagaming.
as-
Sorry.
As this is happening.
Where the
So
hell?
while that's happening, these guys are.
What's all this?
Okay, so while this is going on,
Piece of the kingdom.
you are able to sneak your way around all the way over to behind this building,
Oh damn! Right. Okay.
and it seems as though you haven't been spotted by
Yes.
anyone nearby. These two are over inspecting where you were, and the guard with the crossbow is walking up to the edge of the storage. They're highly suspicious right
Oh,
now. If they didn't
damn.
roll 20s, they wouldn't really care as much. But Mr. Green here, very perceptive man, very perceptive man. So we'll see what Barrick is doing. Now that you've saw this transpire,
What am I behind? Am I like behind like boxes?
find
or-
there's a couple crates of tin ore, some other boxes that are sealed between you and the crossbowman. So you've
I'm
got
just gonna,
plenty of cover.
There's nothing
just
going
gonna
on
luck
there.
sack it and hold my ground.
That's literally all you can do.
Just make some stealth while you're there. See how
Move
well
on.
hidden you can stay in the darkness.
Ooh.
Okay. So it doesn't look like the crossbowman's seen you yet. He's starting to kind of loosen up, take a step back. It's like he thinks there's nothing there. But the green guy is fucking determined. He's
Oh, shit.
approaching closer. While these two are just, they don't see anything, so they're walking back to the campfire.
Whose turn is it?
We'll go back to Carrick, since you're the one that's having to move about. Just make a, do an insight check.
Is that intelligence?
Insight. There should be one in the skill list.
Damn.
Okay. You know that if you were able to sneak around to the open storage, by the time you got there, the candle would have almost burnt down to the well. So this, I wonder if I could set a timer up of this or not. But you don't have long.
Don't have long in the candle.
Don't have
right,
long.
Okay.
So what do you do?
There's 2 options here. One, no, 3 options. Keep proceeding. Second one, hold position. Third one, hold position. You need a ball bearing at his head. And I don't know which one's best.
Gotta make a choice. You're running out of time. Like, just imagine
Oh god.
like in real time, you're sitting here trying to think of what to do, and in the back of your mind, you can see the candle slowly burning down. Almost burnt out.
I'm just gonna have to book it. Well, not run, but
Sneak your way
stealth my
around.
way next up, yeah. And hope to God.
Who goes?
The candle
Make your stuff.
Somewhere mad. Hopefully there's retarded to Skyrim AI, but we'll see.
Someone's creeping about.
Make
That's
your
what the
stealth
tree
roll.
is.
See if you can sneak.
Stealth
We'll
roll.
do. This is like to get all the way over to the storage.
Here we go. Blind fucker in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so Crossbowman first. Crossbowman, he has fucking give up at this point. He just grumbles under his breath, walks over, and leans back up against the cliffside here. Mr. Green, he's starting to lose interest at this point. You can see he's not really taking a couple steps back, like, must have been nothing. Going back. Needs to have sat down. The one with the rake, he's just like picked up the fucking food they were eating and he's tearing it.
Scoffed it.
And you've successfully creeped your whole way around to the storage area.
And now we wait.
Make another wee insight check as you arrive, just to see how long
Oh,
you've left.
Greg, you know what I've just thought of? I hope there's no lock on this door.
I don't think it's a door. I think it's just more of a cave entrance,
Is it-
isn't it?
Under
There
the
is like a
door.
very rickety door,
Fuck.
very flimsy. But make your insight check again. Take a wee.
Oh dear, terrible.
Okay, so in the stress of the situation and trying to figure out how you're gonna get there, it's escaped your mind how long is left before your candle burns out. But you have now arrived back beside each other. And
Well,
if you want, you can do some whispered conversation.
Did you
time
get
is
everything set up?
set. Time is set. Won't be long. Just hold position. That
What's
more
the
like
when this goes off? What's the plan?
well,
We could go
hopefully-
straight in as soon as the man moves away from the door, but if he
I'm-
calls anyone outside, if he calls anyone inside the mine that there's a fire, we could get stuck between a rock and a hard place quite easily.
we could.
At this point,
Say-
there's another large bang from the inside of the mine, echoing even louder than the previous one.
Oh damn! See if I was like a master, I would have timed the fire. Well, actually, it wouldn't have mattered. Another massive explosion.
I guess one rings your ears from how loud it is.
Right.
So what were they
Kark,
gonna do? Just hold ground?
if the crossbowman. Is this guy actually a crossbowman? Yeah.
Yeah, he has a crossbow. It's kind of lifted up over his
If
shoulder.
he moves away from the door without calling anyone inside the mine, gonna go straight into the mine as soon as he moves away.
Copy that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So be ready.
Um,
We're just gonna wait.
As you were uttering the words "be ready," you can start to see a little flame of
oh
smoke.
no! What's happened here?
Like a little trail of smoke is starting to rise above the back of the building.
Rip the women and children that live in that house.
Uh, so far, it seems like nobody has caught notice
Oh,
of
for
the
God's
smoke.
sake.
This is a very fine little bit of smoke. Not very
Very-
easy to see. You
Oh,
only know it's
okay.
there
You
because
gonna say a
you
fine
know it's
house
meant
but
to
it
be
burned
happening.
down?
So it begins.
So you just want to wait until the fire fully takes hold.
That's more or less it. Yeah, we
Yes.
just gotta hold ground.
So it
Going
doesn't.
to
Yeah.
draw my dagger just to be ready.
I was also thinking the same thing, but murder is what I'd like to avoid.
Ah, yes. Before that, I'm gonna
Murder
Add in-
to avoid to set up a family of four's home on fire.
add in your little hand crossbow to your sheet that I forgot to do that you got off the guy's last
No, it's
summer.
it's on the sheet.
Oh, I added it in there now, but I need to add in the stats for shooting it,
Oh right.
which I do not It weighs 3 pounds. And hand crossbow. Uses dexterity. It's got a pretty shitty range. Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do.
Okay.
We don't need no one to let that motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker.
You know, I have your hand crossbow and your 5 wonderful bolts that you're able to find.
Yay.
And what weird are these things? Shit. Need to use my calculator. They're very light. So light it barely even affects your weight. But anyway. So
Beggars can't be
you
choosers.
see the flames start to take hold of the house, and at this point, everybody at the fire, you start seeing them freaking like going, "Oh shit, there's a fire!" They start yelling, just screaming fire over and over again, and start rushing towards the building. Don't know what they're gonna do, but they'll rush over.
We should have done a perception check to see if there's a goddamn well nearby, but I'm highly doubt it.
There was not. No, you're up on a cliff. The crossbowman, in panic, just also starts running that way.
Go,
He doesn't-
go, go, go.
He failed his wisdom save to think to call for extra help before running off, as did the rest of them.
It's time to yeet this bitch.
So you just want to go for the door?
Yeah.
It's
okay,
now an
you-
hour, like.
Just,
Do we
bol-
roll
just
stealth?
bolt it or sneak it.
Sneak.
A sneak
You
power
can
walk.
sneak with advantage
Oh, with advantage.
because you have a distraction going on.
So that's stealth.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh damn.
Hmm?
Two very
Damn.
good.
The
So-
wind opened that door.
So you get to the door. The door is shut, and when you put your hand on it and press against the door, it is locked, but it seems as though it's very flimsily locked. It's not
Can
a
I
very
see the
strong
lock?
It's like a bar on the inside. Like someone's like there's little windows, like little bar windows in the door, and it looks as though from what you can see that it's a post has been set across the back of the door to keep it shut.
Is the glass
Is
broken
it
or
stupidly enough? Can I just put my hand through the bars and lift the post?
No, it's they're too narrow for you to put your hand through the bars.
Shit.
think fast? Think fast.
Can we pop? Can we just rip it open?
Like just yank it as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Make a strength check or athletics because you might have a bonus to athletics, maybe.
Athletic. Both of us?
Okay. Well, are you both gonna try and rip it open? Because you could take
Uh,
one door each and try and pull or kick, whichever one you prefer.
Oh, I'd only like to do one door, really.
Yeah, just one door.
Who's doing it?
I'll try it. You keep watch. Fuck.
Fuck.
So you kick on the door, and that was a natural one. That's why it's red. If you mouse over it, it shows you what you rolled plus the
Yeah,
bonus.
You
Yeah.
got a +1.
So you kick it, and there's a loud rattle as the door shakes against the bar. And let's just see if anyone is not a
Oh,
fucking mong.
It's
Okay.
a bar.
Like, well, like the plank bar. And you hurt your foot doing this. But
Ah.
the guy with the rake turns around, hearing this rattling. He's like, there's fucking thieves. They're trying to break into the mine.
Oh no.
But
Can we both?
they also need to worry about the house. So, Mr. Crossman, you see him turn, like out of the corner of your eye, turn your direction. Well, these three are still trying to like put out the fire. They're like batting at it with pieces of wood. One of them's ripped their shirt off. They're trying to like fan down the flames, but it's only making it worse. This house is almost entirely engulfed. The lights just lighting up the area. So we're now gonna roll an actual initiative for combat. So just click the wee initiative thing.
Andre, just because out of curiosity,
Is
what would have been the proper way, the best way to open that door?
it was all depending on your roll. So you
Alright.
could have got like a 15 and above,
Yeah, there
and
was basically
you would have
no
kicked it in,
smart way of doing it.
or you could have used your like thieves tools kit and slid something between the doors and tried to lift the
Why did I
bar.
not think of that?
See, I was thinking that, but I was like panicked.
So now roll your initiative to see who is going first here. Let's see.
What do I roll for initiative again?
There should just be a in the middle. There's like the shield, the two squares. Just click the word initiative under the 3.
Wow.
Oh, pretty good so far. Okay, so you need to roll again. Then a roll off against the crossbowman.
I
Shit.
lose.
Okay, crossbowman got a 7, so it was pretty close. So as you've kicked the door, turn around, like look over your shoulder. The crossbowman, like these other guys, like these 3 Egypts are going at the same time as him, but they're too busy trying to put the fire out. So he runs over a bit, say, behind the building, and he takes a shot at the closer target.
Me.
Yes, which is you. And so if you click on your character, you've got the red one, the green one, and the blue one. So the red one is your current health, green one's your total health, and the blue one is your armor. So what it takes to hit you.
What? Where's this?
Just click on your red guy. Or can you click on your red guy? Hold on. Can you click on
Oh,
him
I
now?
can. Yes, yes, I can click on him now.
So
yeah.
you should be able to see the wee numbers above him.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Oh!
your current health, your max health, and then your armor. So as you look over your shoulder and see this crossman running up to the side of the door, he swings his crossbow around, takes a shot, but it ricochets off the top of the cliff just above your head, spraying little fragments of rock down at your eyes. So next, we have Beric. You can move 30 feet on your turn if you want, and then you can make an attack.
I'm gonna go. Fuck.
Oh yes,
Fuck.
and the fire is starting to die down. They're making headway in dousing the flames as best they can. So now continue with your turn.
Fuck my life. Turn around. I'm gonna pull out my hand crossbow
Indeed.
and try to take a shot at the other crossbow.
Okay. So just click the like the hand crossbow word, and it'll shoot the crossbow. So as you take your shot, you fire it out from your crossbow, and he ducks behind the building, and you see the bolt just slam into the side of the wood. Just it's now just protruding from maybe about 7 feet up on the corner. Do you want to move at all before your turn ends?
I shall move in behind some cover in the storage area.
Okay, so you duck in behind some cover.
Oh.
And now we move to Carrick. What are you
Question.
gonna do? A crossbow bolt has just whizzed over your head.
I can't perform an action and then perform an attack.
Oh,
in
you
the same
can
turn.
Well,
you
you can move
can
and
you
then
can move, and then you can either do something like try and open the door, interact with an object, or shoot someone as your attack.
What I really wanted to try and do was jab the dagger between the two doors, lift the bar up, and
If
open
that's
one
what you
of
want
the
to do,
doors.
you can do it. Well, you can try and do it.
After that, am I allowed to attack? No.
No, it
No.
would take
No.
like
I would take a turn.
each round of combat
Yeah,
is
no.
about 6 seconds. So
Well, it's currently
about say 3 or 4 seconds have passed of a bolt is just hit above your head. You've saw Barrack turn around and fire a bolt back, and like as his bolt is like midway through the air.
is my dagger gonna be long enough?
Oh
to
yeah,
get this
it's not a
thing?
very thick door.
All right, let's.
You'll need to
fucking-
make a sleight of hand to try and open the door.
this is not what I would have done in your situation, but I can't bet against
Well,
him, so
you could shout to him. You can talk during the turns. So you see him getting his dagger ready to slide between the doors.
I'll let him do this and then
Okay.
we'll see where it goes.
Well,
If
make
it
a
fails, combat ensues. But
sleight of hand. Okay, so
holy shit!
you slide your dagger in between the two parts of the door. With a flick of your wrist, you just slide it up, and you can just see the bar slide off the doors, and they swing open into the mine.
Like a professional.
So, do you want to move at all now you've done that? Because you can still move.
Can I move into the mine? No.
If you want to.
I will take a. I will not go directly in and
Just
leave a
step
man
inside the
behind.
door.
I want to take a defensive position and cover.
So, like, hide
Well-
behind the door.
Yes, but
So,
and at the same time,
I
I'm
guess.
gonna have to
Uh,
hold the long throwing knife ready
Can
for my
I-
blow for a cover.
can I like
That's my
talk
turn.
to him like during this?
Oh, yeah. Not a lot, but you can say, like, a few things.
Push his position.
What? Oh, push this position. Right. Okay.
So, you've used, like 5 or 10 feet to step inside the door, then you hear these words, like, echo across towards you.
Would you say push his position or push this position?
You can now
towards me?
choose to act on them. You've already heard it, so you can
Yeah,
choose to
no,
act
right.
or
Fuck it. Well,
you've got about
uh,
25 feet of movement left.
right. Okay. As I opened the door, did I say anything? Any people?
No, you don't see anyone inside, but it is well lit
Right,
with
lit with
torches.
Right. That's okay. Checked on. Right. Let's push this wall.
Yeah, so you can
30
get
feet.
only 25 because you have stepped
Oh,
inside.
yeah,
It's about
okay,
there.
right.
Just drag him over here,
And
so you
draw
should be
throwing
able to
knife.
move.
Oh shit! Can I move?
Yeah,
Oh,
you should be able to
okay,
move
okay.
yourself.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So now it is back to the crossbowmen. The other 3 men are spending their turn trying to put out the flames. It looked like they were getting under control, but then
Hold
one of
on.
them who's using his shirt to try and bat the flames down,
Shirt went
his
up.
shirt takes fire, and he just falls back, and the shirt floats up and catches the roof itself on fire now as well, making it worse. And the crossman here, he keeps in. Oh, he peeks out behind, like from the wall, take another shot at Carrick, trying to put him down. And again, the bolt, you see and hear like the string go tight as the bolt whizzes towards you, just over your head again, pinging off the rock side with small shards of stone and dust fall over your back. And the bolt just ricochets off somewhere. And then he takes a step, like, back up against the wall, holding the crossbow up, getting ready to peek around the corner and take a shot. And it's now to Beric's turn. No damage has been done yet on either side.
I am going to. Where the fuck's the ruler thing?
It's under the magnifying glass.
Under the magnifying glass, left, top left.
What is it? 30 feet I can move?
Yeah, you can move 30 feet. Or you can give up your attack and move 60 feet. Oh, he's making a run.
Yeah, that's about right.
So you're dashing out
Yeah.
into the...
Dashing out into the middle of the street, shall we say.
Yep.
And I'm gonna just, as I sort of like dash out, I load my crossbow again.
You would have been able to load it at the end of your last turn.
Alright,
Takes a
well
bonus
then,
action, so like you would have loaded it, stuck a bolt in, and got ready for another
Alright.
shot.
Then I shall fire.
So you've come sprinting out from behind the cover, skid across the ground, tried to take aim and fire, and your bolt slams into the side of the building just above the other crossman's head, missing him. We now go to Carrick, to Carrick's turn.
Yes. Finally.
Very
Just gotta-
intense so far. Yeah, you'll be able to make
You
it to him
can
in
see this
melee.
arrow, can't you?
Yeah.
Draw short sword.
We don't have to be super accurate with the distances. And turn
Yeah,
yourself to
champ.
face him. Yes. So you've drawn your short sword and just your short sword, yeah?
Yep. Well,
So what do you want to do?
did I draw my short sword and then toss the dagger over to the other hand?
You could, but I'll have to look up dual wielding to make sure how it works.
Just to make it easier for Andrew,
I'll
just do
make
the
it
short
easier for
sword.
Andrew. We'll just do the short sword, Andrew. We'll just do
Now,
the
I
short
will quickly see if I can find dual wielding in the index. Or maybe it's called two weapon fighting. I don't know. Yeah, two weapon fighting. Page 195. Because it might be more beneficial for
I
you
love
to
the way
use.
this went all so well, except for the
And-
fucking door at the end.
Telling you,
Just that one. The one got you.
My plan was perfect. It's just the fucking one. I knew it would come. I just didn't know when. It was going to be me or you.
Okay, so when you make an attack with a light weapon, which a dagger and short sword are, you can use a bonus action to attack with a different light melee weapon that you're holding in the other hand. You don't add your ability modifier to the damage of the bonus attack unless that modifier is negative.
So,
If
so
either
I-
weapon has the thrown property, you can throw the weapon instead of making a melee attack. So you would roll like two normal attacks, which are +5, and then if you hit with your dagger, you don't get the bonus damage. It would just be a d4. Or you can throw it.
Well, I'm in his face, so the throwing thing doesn't really seem unrealistic to me. So
Unless you kill him, then you could throw it at someone else.
yeah, let's go with that then. We'll throw it if he dies immediately.
So do your short sword first.
I just click short sword.
Yeah, just click the short sword.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so as you swing around the corner with your momentum, you bring the short sword round, and you feel it slide across his armor and then dig into his flesh between some of the gaps where like the armor on his shoulder would be and where his chest is. Just there at the joint of his arm, you feel it dig in and then pull away from his skin. Now, click the word short sword under your 15 to deal your damage.
Short sword under.
Where the actual dice roll comes up.
Oh, I see, I see.
There we go. So you have then dealt to him 4 damage. You can see he is a bit shaken by this. Like, he didn't expect you to come around the corner and just take a swing for him. So you now make your next attack. Just click on
Oh.
your dagger.
Oh, fuck.
So you've hit him with the sword. As it pulls away, you go for a stab with the gut with your dagger, but he has took a step back. So your blade just slides past where he was standing, but you just barely miss him. And
Right,
it
okay,
rotates back.
That's my turn now over then.
Yes, it rotates back to the rest of the people. And you can see that the commoners, like the other people, have almost got the fire beat down again. It's almost completely out. The fire that caught on the roof has died down. There's just a bit where you had the oil that's still mainly on fire. But the crossman himself, he
It's all fly.
just drops his crossbow, pulls out just a club, like just imagine a baseball bat, and takes a
Right.
swing for your head.
Brilliant.
Oh. So
He rolled a crit.
no,
Oh,
he didn't roll a
God.
crit. He just hit you. So you've come around, you've nicked him on the arm. He's thrown his crossbow down, just took the bat, and just tried to go for your head. And it just like kind of clips your temple, like right at the edge of your hairline, and just skims off, dealing 3 damage to you.
Oh,
Jesus. You get hit in the head.
Yep. So you like you can feel this impact. There's a bit of blood that trickles down from your broken skin into your eyebrow, and you're kind of shaken and dazed from the impact. And then it goes to Beric's turn.
I saying this that Kark is in a wee bit of difficulty. Shall
Yeah, you just
leg
see
it
him take
over.
out. You hear like an audible just thunk as his bat whacks off his head.
I'd go, ow.
I shall leg it over, and I shall put my crossbow away, draw my short sword, and just try to
Hit it in them.
stab him in the gut.
Okay. Are you also gonna draw 2 blades?
No, I'm just gonna use my short sword.
Because you have the 2 short swords if you want. Gives you an extra attack.
I just did it
Okay,
because of
fine.
the
I'll
extra
draw my
attack.
2 short swords.
Okay. So do 1 attack first. To see how it goes. Oh, you barely got him. So
Fuck.
roll your damage. Just click on the short sword under the 12. Just where the dice rolls
Where?
pop up. It says short sword underneath the 12.
Oh.
If you click on that. Oh. So
Jesus.
you rolled, like it's a d6. You rolled a 6 plus your 3 for your dexterity. So
Nice.
as this guy has took his swing and just thunked Carrick across the head, you dart round the side. Actually, you need to roll just roll a d6 because you're both rogues. So if you fight
Just
somebody
a
and
standard
your
D6.
ally, yeah, just a normal d6. Oh fuck. So if you attack somebody and deal damage while an ally is next to them, you roll an extra d6 on your attack. So
Holy shit, he's
this guy
dead.
has just took
It's
13
just like
damage.
Would it not be 15?
Oh yeah, 15. Damn, that's even
Fucking
worse.
hell.
See what?
So he Carrick just gets whacked across the head, and as you see him with like his arms stretched out, making the swing, you dart in and just jab up with your sword into the gap where his like armor would like kind of like tie on his side. There's a slight gap where the bottom of his armor would meet his hip. you just thrust up there into the side of into his stomach, and with a loud gasp, he just, slumps over across against the wall, blood pooling underneath him. This guy is incapacitated.
Oh, he did.
No, he said incapacitated.
Incapacitated. I'm not gonna consider people dead unless it's super bad, so I'm gonna try and keep the deaths of enemies realistic. The
Okay.
other three haven't noticed this yet, but
They ha-
it is Carrick's turn. Because remember, these are 6 second rounds. These guys are focused trying to beat down a fire. They haven't even like noticed what's
Right.
happened.
Situation wise, where did this guy's body? Did he fucking just plank, or did he like?
Oh,
sit
he
down
like
against the
took
back
a
of the wall?
staggered step back and just slumped unconscious against the wall of the building.
You can kind of like move through me if that's what you're sort of wondering.
Yeah, you can move through your
It's-
allies if you want to.
It's not really that what I was thinking. I was just gonna think of picking him up and then like moving back to the door that I opened. That's
Carrick, we have no choice. Kill the rest.
Oh shit. Okay. Ah well, Andrew, what way does sneak attacks work approaching from behind an enemy?
If they
Is
know
there
you're
different-
there, you don't get any bonus. But if the enemy is beside someone who's your ally, so like in this case, the two of you were beside him, which means that you get the sneak attack bonus because he can't like focus on the two of you at once.
Right.
It's like your rogue ability.
Can't just creep up behind this guy and slit
Good
his
creep
throat.
up behind too.
If you want to, you could roll stealth to see if you can stealth up on them while they're not directly paying attention to you.
Well, fuck it. I got +7 on this bitch, so. Oh.
That's
Yeah,
okay. They are distracted.
So as you start trying to sneak up, you see that the one in the green shirt, he, like the one in the middle, he is like really like down there on the ground trying to put the flames out. The other two glance around as you start sneaking up. They hear your footsteps on the ground and they whip round. Like they're like not the full way around, like they know you're there now. And they have seen what happens. So you can continue with the rest of your turn.
Right, so I have. How far do you say I snuggle? It's about here? Roughly there?
Well,
on
you
the
can
top?
you can move. Yeah, well, you would have got to about there. They've spotted you, and now you can move like the rest of your 15 feet.
You can basically engage one of
Now
them.
this guy
Jesus.
still doesn't actually know you're there.
Oh, fuck. Decisions. Ta-
Snake attack.
Yeah, I think
The
it is gonna have to be the snake, Andrew.
Go for it.
Right for the jugular. Right, okay, what do I have to do here? If
Uh,
sneak attack, just a normal short sword?
just roll your normal damage.
Oh wait, no, that's not right, is it?
No, that's the right one.
Okay.
So this guy, he isn't wearing any armor. He's just got normal clothes on. So now do your short sword damage, and then roll a normal d6.
Oh flip, I can't remember how to roll a d6.
No, does he? Oh, I D6.
Yeah,
'cause
this
of
guy
that.
is getting sneak attacked as well.
What do you type? Hashtag.
No,
Slash.
just do up. Go up to the top left where the ruler thing is.
Yeah, you
Just
can go to
below
the
it,
dice
you can
symbol.
do the D6.
Oh yeah.
Just click on D6.
Just mouse over it and then click the D. Okay, so
He
He's
did.
fucked.
he takes 14 points of damage, and like when you sneak up behind this guy, and you stab him,
Right for the
like,
jugular.
you kind of get a bit carried away. So, like what way do you want to attack him? Like slit the throat, stab through his back. What were you thinking?
Well, more or less, was he crouched down?
Yeah, he's crouched down.
I was just gonna grab his top of his forehead, peel it back, and just go for the jugular. Fucking
So-
kill him. Slit his throat.
As you like, you've been spotted by the other two, so you sprint up, grab this guy by the hair, rip back his head, and as you pull your short sword across his neck, it
Brutal
digs
death.
in deep. Like you feel it dig right into the bone. And as you rip it out, a spray, like you yourself get spread with a bit of blood, and the guy to his right just gets covered in blood. This guy is dead. He is outright dead. he is gone. Like you've almost severed his head off. That's how bad it is. You almost cut clean through his spine.
No.
So you now are able to use your like secondary, like you've still got your dagger, and since it's a throwing weapon as well as a melee weapon, you could
Throw it
throw
at
it.
it.
This will not be sneaked.
I know it's not gonna be snaked, but
So do you want to
Can't-
throw the dagger?
yeah, fucking why not?
Throw it at the cap of the log.
Do
He's
it,
the one
okay.
covered in blood. He's like wiping his eyes right now, like
Yes, he can't even see.
as he is covered in blood.
Do I get an advantage because you can't see shit?
No, he knows you're there, so
Okay, right.
he's like aware of you.
He'll have to see the dagger coming though.
Right. What do I just hit dagger for a throw?
Yeah, just
Oh.
dagger for a throw. So you have hit him. So now click the dagger for the damage.
Oh god.
Okay, so whereabouts were you roughly aiming for?
Is he wearing clothes?
He's just
I
wearing
mean,
normal
is it-
clothes.
Sort of like the stomach area.
Okay, so as you've like almost severed the head off this other guy, you still have your dagger in your hand and you just like chuck it over his falling corpse. And you are aiming low for his stomach, but you see the blade just it drops down a bit lower, closer to his hips,
Oh, shit.
round about just below where your liver would be, and just slides straight into him. He like grasps like and he falls into the flames of the still burning house.
No, your dagger. Oh.
So he is now incapacitated, but he is also on fire, which I will use this little orange dot for.
Nice.
So that is now the end of your turn.
Has the fire gotten worse again? No,
Uh,
there's less-
It's almost out. It's really just the part that guy fell into. So this
Okay.
last guy with the rake. Roll an intimidation check, Macaulay, just for how
fine.
brutal that
If he
is.
doesn't run.
I've already rolled what he's got.
Aw,
Do you want to say anything? Like,
you're next, bitch.
oh, roll it with advantage because he just killed his two friends right in front of him.
Right, so I go. Do I go over advantage and then roll intimidation?
Just
Yeah,
roll a
just
second
like advantage.
intimidation.
A second intimidation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice?
just a normal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so he sees his two friends drop to the ground, one's head almost severed clean off his body. He's just like, and he runs. Like, he just fucking runs. Not even to the path, he just starts running to the edge of the cliff.
The wolves will
So-
get him.
Let's say we're out of the initiative order now, so is there anything that Barrack wants to do in this moment as this guy
Run
starts to
after
run?
him.
So you're gonna sprint him down. Roll athletics to see how fast you are.
Fucking fly. Ooh,
So
not too
this guy
bad.
starts to run. You're just fucking on him like Usain Bolt. Start just straight on his ass. He barely gets a couple steps, and you've already caught up to him.
Nice.
So what do you want to do next?
Fucking stab him
I'll
right through the back.
just try to stab the sword in him.
Make a attack roll. Okay, do your damage as well. Okay, so you need to pull this guy back.
Jesus. Oh, he's
So-
fucked.
You,
Slit his throat with a dagger.
as you're running forward, you make your thrust for him. It catches him in the back, and it doesn't go like straight through. It kind of slides up his back and leaves like a big gash from like his lower right all the way up to his left shoulder, just diagonally across his back, and he just face plants to the ground. He is
Oh, rip.
also incapacitated. So everybody
what
has
was-
been eliminated. And
What was
again,
easy?
from the mine, you hear a massive explosion. And this time, some dust starts flying out through the open doors.
I shall stab my sword downward and finish the guy off that's in the ground, just in case he's still alive. So I'll
That
just-
one you just got to?
Yeah,
Okay, so you
Fucking
just fucking kill him?
yeah.
Okay, he is dead. Like,
And then
there's no hope of him being alive.
I shall then move over to the crossbowman and just see what he has on him.
He has some leather armor, pretty much the same quality of gear you're wearing. He has a normal crossbow, not a hand crossbow.
Right.
And he has, let me see, his coin purse has 10, 10 coppers and 2 silver.
Right, I'll take his money, and as I'm over in this corner, I shall see if I can recover the crossbow
bolts?
bolts that are in the
You
side
can
of his
indeed.
house. Yeah, it's nice.
So you
That's
still
all I
have your
have.
5.
Yeah, and then I shall go.
You can tell looting him that he is still alive.
Oh yeah, he didn't die. Throw him in the fire.
Just as I go.
Well, actually, like, as you took his money, like, he was alive, but as you take his money, like, you hear his last, like, sigh of breath leave his body as he passes and dies.
It's nothing personal, bitch.
Carrick, come
Yes.
on. I shall move
Come on.
towards the door.
I
but
will
obviously you can
assume,
do whatever
McCoy,
you want.
that you're gonna get your dagger.
Oh yes, I would.
Because
like
if you
my dagger
don't
back.
say you're gonna get your dagger, then you're gonna lose your dagger.
I wanted to retrieve my dagger and see what these two plebs probably have nothing on them, but you know.
Well,
don't
between the
know.
two of them, they have 13 copper and 2 silver.
You already know my answer. I need it more than they do, so.
Oh yeah.
come on,
Well, they're
guys.
both dead. So there's the guy who almost has his head cut off, and then the guy that fell into flames. He is now also dead, burnt to death.
Status of the body on fire, is he?
Oh, he's
like,
dead. Like the fire finished
Oh,
him
no,
off.
no, no, no. Like, is he still on fire? Or.
And he's smoldering. Like you can see his skin is starting to blacken as the flames creep over his body. Hair's all gone at this point. His clothes have almost burnt off.
Yeah,
There's
What does this building, by the way, look like, Andre? This like big black 2-story one.
just like a kind of wooden log cabin you'd see in Alaska.
Yeah,
The logs
yeah.
stacked, kind of like that. But at this point, like you're both smelling. Like there already was this kind of scent of bacon that you smelled earlier from the fire, but now there's a really, really strong scent of bacon, burnt bacon.
Hmm.
That's weird.
Well,
Uh,
do you not know
What do you mean
the old
burnt
thing of
bacon? Do you mean the smell of burnt bacon, as in the guy's corpse that is now cooking?
Yes.
fire? Oh, okay, no, that makes sense.
the
Burn it.
famous line, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning."
Yeah.
The reason he said that was because it smells like bacon.
Nice. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Apparently, like, so we're on that. Apparently, like, it reminded soldiers in Vietnam of like Sunday dinner because, like,
Yeah.
it's not like roast beef or something like that
Pretty
there
much.
as well.
like burnt pork or
Lol.
bacon. But you've now looted those two guys. What do you want to do next?
Eric, you don't want to hide the bodies, do you? Might be suspicious if somebody comes up here.
There's a lot of blood under each of these
I
bodies.
just
at this point.
glare. I just glare. The building's
well.
on fire, you fool!
I thought it was nearly out. I thought
Come
it was nearly
on!
out. I thought it was nearly
It's
out.
pretty burnt down.
Ah, fuck, right.
Okay,
Here we go.
time to move on to the mine. So now it is pretty dark in here. There are torches that light the way, but they're very, very dim torches in the darkness. So, couldn't maybe see like that much. You're on this like really dark page, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay. So
That
that's
moved my
that's
joystick.
about. Oh, I need to fix that.
I can move mine now.
Okay, so you've just entered into the mine, and this is a very
They call it a mine.
it's very
Oh
roughly
my.
cut with jagged sides. Every about 6 feet or so, there's a post on either side with a wooden beam over top to keep it from collapsing. There's a very thick layer of dust all across all the surfaces on the ground, on the walls, everywhere. Some of it's still floating in the air. And as you start to breathe in, like it scratches your lungs and makes you want to cough. So before you even start to move, you'll both need to make constitution saving throws from the dust inside the mine.
Where is Constitution?
Shit.
There it is there. What? Bazanga.
Okay, so as you both step in, the dust that you saw fly out earlier is still circling the air, and you just feel like you need to rack your lungs and cough to get it out. It just, you know, like the way when you're, say, eating like a chicken goujon, and a little crumb goes down the wrong way, and you really need to fucking cough, and you can't do anything else. It's like that,
Alright.
but worse. That is how you feel.
As I'm coughing, I like detach my hood and
Put it
like,
around your
use
face.
it to cover my face.
Yeah, yes. Smart plan. Well, you have now stepped into this mine. What is your next move?
Shall run forward into this crossroads, and do I have to roll a perception check to see what I
Well,
can see?
Yeah. Roll perception to see if you notice anything about the mine in particular.
I will also roll perception.
11.
Is there anything in like particular you're really looking for?
People.
Oh, you don't see any people yet. It's very
What
dark
way?
and dimly
What
lit.
way goes deeper?
It's hard to tell. Both of the paths are curving, and with the very dimly lit torches, it's hard to see for you. For
What do I see?
actually, I'll put wee rings around you. So
Nicholas, what do your elven eyes see?
trying to work out how far
They're
you'd
taking
be
the
able to
hottest
see.
two eyes and go.
Okay, so hold down. So you can see like just about. I'll just open the rest of this up here and here. So Jacob, you can only see like the kind of greenier part, or no, the yellowier part, like the inner circle. And Macaulay can see with his half-elven eyes pretty much like the green circle, but try and use
I-
like line of
I
sight
do
from where
not
you are.
see any
So-
circles.
Oh, you don't?
No. Oh shit. Okay, now I do see some circles.
Okay, so try and use your ruler for like line of sight. So, like you wouldn't be able to see these guys right now. because they're
Yeah.
kind of covered in the corners. It's just very hard to use the box tool to uncover
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. No, it's okay. We'll not
So-
metagame.
So, only one of you can see a lot, so you'll have to communicate what you can see.
How far can I see under?
You can see like the outer ring, like the green one, 60 feet.
Hey.
Garrick,
Yes.
quickly, this way.
Shit.
It's taking the initiative. Gonna say anything? You're the one that can see.
Can I see? I move to here. Do I see anything else? No.
Hold on. Oh, there's a polygon reveal. That's useful. So you can see about that. You see a figure standing in this next room up ahead, and you can hear voices starting to come from this room, and an almighty crash, like another loud explosion, and a huge
Okay.
crashing sound, tumbling rocks.
Eric, there are people up ahead. Let's go right.
I
Look
can't
right.
see a thing, but I'll take your word for it.
I will.
Are you
Well,
just
I
gonna
can't-
try and be stealthy in the cave, or
Yes,
in the
I would-
mine?
I kind of.
I'm gonna say probably not particularly, because it's awfully loud.
Okay.
I would like to peek down this
Okay.
corridor under, or well, like I'd like my back against the wall and have a peek, or where it's safe, but it doesn't really matter.
So you can see that down this tunnelway to the left side, there's kind of a little dip into the wall that's been mined out, and there's a man with a pickaxe banging away, picking at something in the wall with a bucket beside him.
There's a guy
can just-
mining up ahead.
Like at this point, you can start to notice the resonant ting, ting, ting of pickaxes hitting off the walls, echoing through the tunnels, all over. Your ears are still slightly ringing from the explosions that you've heard.
We have no choice. We must push forward.
Okay, I will go round to this corner. Can I see any more under, or is that it?
You can see about that much.
Garrick, he's yours.
Okay.
You'll need to roll some stealth. Oh, very high stealth roll there. This miner is so busy at his work, and his
He's fine.
ears are probably damaged from having worked in the mine for so long with the explosions that have been happening, and does not hear your silent footsteps as you sneak up. What are you gonna do?
Fuck, we were supposed to come here to lift taxes, and now we're murdered.
You don't have to murder him.
I've got two options: slit his throat, or like put my hand over his mouth so he can't breathe, and he hopefully pass out. But there's no guarantee.
So,
But
like, you're standing behind this guy, your sword and dagger still drawn from earlier, as you think in your mind, like, these thoughts of, we didn't have to kill these guys. So now what do you want to do with your turn?
I'm just sort of looking at him like, great.
You can see,
Nice.
like,
Now's the time he gains a conscience.
you can barely
think
see him
so.
in the dim light, and you can, like, see as he sneaks up, he kind of hesitates before striking.
I will kill him. Slit his throat.
Make your attack roll. I will say with advantage as well, because
You could have just knocked him over the head.
With what?
well, you've already
With your
said
sword.
you've already decided to make your attack, so
Your sword.
no
has a-
do-overs.
Your sword has a pommel. You could have.
Okay, so you have hit him. Roll your short sword damage, or are you going for short sword
Oh, he's fucked.
Oh wait, no, I've pressed the
damage,
wrong thing.
and then now an extra d6.
Oh, for God's sake.
What kind of strike was it you were looking
Oh
to?
no,
That's
take the
not-
lowest. Take the lowest one. On
Oh, one. What kind of strike were you looking to hit this guy with? like a thrust to slide across the throat.
Yeah, let's say the throat. Yeah.
Okay, so you you reach up, like take him by the shoulder as you bring your sword around to slide across his throat. He reacts and starts to panic, pulling back into you, slightly knocking you off balance as you rip your blade across his throat. You can just hear a low gurgling noise as
I actually
as
get
you
it.
see blood just over the wall in front of you where he was mining, and he just slumps forward against it.
Well,
He is
that's good.
convulsing. You, it's he's gonna die soon from the blow. Like he isn't gonna live long. He's
Come
bleeding
on.
out.
I'm a fucking retard. Let's go.
Just pushing forward further in. I will
Yeah.
say, make a stealth to see how silently you killed him.
Shit.
And let's see. Okay, so he does get out like the beginnings of a word, but it's just ended in the gurgling of his throat getting slit and his blood pouring out. So as you keep going and you turn the corner, you can see the dimly lit passageway of the mine leads to a dead end. As the tinging of metal on stone keeps ringing throughout the tunnels.
It's a dead end. We must go back.
Let's go back.
Sorry, chum.
So you're going up that tunnel now, yeah?
Well,
Okay.
I will stop here and see if I can see anything more. And
So-
bye. That guy.
So,
Oh, I should have just
Looking
drove
up this way, you can see. Actually, you'd be able to see a little bit more. There you go. So as you look up, you can see there's the first guy whose back you saw earlier, standing like shuffling in the spot, looking really concerned as there's muffled voices. Then you see the side of another man wielding a club in his hand, kind of brandishing it back and forth between this man and somebody else to his left. And then further down the tunnel, you see. Now you wouldn't really be able to see this part of that guy, so let's ignore he's there. But you
That's
see
alright.
another armed man, kind of scratching his head and saying something further down the tunnel.
So there's at least 3 that I can see.
Yes,
Okay.
but only you know this. Well, Barrick would be able to see the first two.
Eric, there's at least 3. Can I? Wait.
You take
Wait.
the guy with the club. Leave the miner to me.
Okay.
Rushing in.
Yep.
Roll some stealth. See how sneakily you sneak up on these guys.
14, not too bad.
12. Okay, so as you come around the corner, I'm gonna reveal this whole room.
Oh dear.
There's this man over here with the log. As you come around, he spots you, but nobody else does. The guy at the club, he's like looking over at him, pointing the stick at him, threatening him, like, keep back! You're not going down this tunnel. There's important business going on. And then as you bust around, we need to roll initiative. You will get a round of surprise where these 3 will not get to attack because they didn't see you coming. But the guy with the log, he gets to act as normal. So our order will be Barrick, Carrick, and everybody else. So what do you do first? These men seem to be engaged in an argument. Like, these 2 miners closest to you, they have their like pickaxes at the ready. Like threateningly. Seems to be a standoff between this man in the tunnel and these other 3.
Interesting.
I am gonna move forward draw my short sword in one hand and my crossbow in the other,
Okay.
and shoot my crossbow at the guy with the club guarding the passage.
Oh, this guy. Ooh.
Make a crossbow attack.
Oh shit, well he hits him.
Oh yeah, you
Like the twinkly
definitely,
eyes.
definitely hit him. Roll your damage.
Ooh.
Okay. I gotta look up a thing that might help here. Now, your crossbow, since it's a one-handed crossbow, it is a light weapon. So after this, you could make an attack with your short sword if you wanted. So
No.
this guy, as he's not paying attention, your
Between the eyes.
bolt, no, not right between the eyes. The bolt flies in and catches him in his shoulder, holding the club, kind of knocking him back slightly as he looks round and then spots you. And you don't want to make any more movement or attacks.
Fuck him
No.
up. Fuck him.
Okay, it's the Carrick's turn. Unless you want to say something.
I just want to kind of put my sword out, like towards the miner that's closest to me, and it's like, drop it.
Make an intimidation check.
Intimidation, and
Ooh.
Well, he drops his pickaxe.
Yeah, he just fucking drops the pickaxe and backs up against the wall, hands in the air. So,
Don't take my notes.
what's going on? Oh. He is panicked, like severely panicked. It is now Carrick's turn.
Let's lob the old dagger at that booty up there. The old club.
So you're going for your throwing dagger. Is this gonna be
Throwing.
with your so your first attack will be your main hand, so you'll have to throw your short sword to your offhand to throw the dagger, and then if you want to attack with the short sword.
I don't want to throw my short sword. I just want to throw the dagger, and then it's basically same as
But why? But why?
Barrack. Just tell these guys to drop their shit.
So you're throwing the dagger at the guy with the club.
Man.
Okay.
This guy's gonna have a terrible day. Just takes a crossbow bolt and then possibly takes a knife.
Make your
D&D, lad,
dagger
that's
attack
hard.
roll.
Would I just hit dagger? Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck.
So you throw the dagger through the smoke and the dust, but as you go to throw it, you kind of cough a bit, and it throws off your aim, and the dagger goes spinning down the tunnel behind him. Can I make the rest of your movement? And then if you want to, you can attack with your offhand.
I do not want to attack these two
Can
retards.
say something if you want.
I will approach this guy with the sword and just say and shout, "Drop it!"
You want the guy that you threw the dagger at to drop it?
Yes, I would.
You will
Will.
also need to roll intimidation.
Intimidation.
Ooh.
Damn.
Oh, that's impressive.
He, as he's like took a bolt and a knife has just whizzed past him, like you shot his like main arm or his club, like he was holding his club. So even in that motion, like as you're saying this, his club's already falling from his hand as he's backing up, and then just raises his left hand above his head, like don't shoot, don't shoot, trying to make a motion of peace. But then it's a Mr. Guy of a club that was not surprised since he saw you coming. He he rolls really bad on a wisdom check, and he is fucking terrified. So he just legs it like into this tunnel, and he's gone. He's like, ah, ah! He sprints. His like a pickaxe dropped at his feet as he runs. It's now back to Barrack's turn because these other guys were surprised by you rushing in here.
I shall advance with a short sword drawn, and I'm just gonna like past this guy, but as I pass, is he just like his back up against the
Oh,
like
he's just
the-
standing like the one on the left.
Yeah.
The one on the left is backed up against the cliff. Yeah,
Oh no, but the guy with the club, is he just standing
he's
in
standing
the
in
middle,
the open. Yeah,
with his hands raised?
his left hand raised.
Right. I'm just gonna come up to him, use the pommel of my sword, and just sort of like use it to like hit him in the uh hit him in the liver to like, and then sort of grab the back of his like grab his back and like throw him into the dirt at
Terminal velocity.
Make your
at
attack roll
Tarek's
first.
feet. What do I do that with? Just the
Just
sword?
just a normal attack, and we'll say it's non-lethal damage, so it won't kill him if you do a ton of damage. So roll your damage. That is a hit.
Jesus.
God damn. Rolling really high on the damage. So as you like flip your blade around to get and like easy thrusting with the pommel into his gut, you fucking slam it in there. You feel a couple ribs crack, and he just crumples to the ground, knocked out.
Yeah, and then I'll just like does he just fall on his knees or just
Oh, he falls on his knees and then he collapses into the dust on the ground. He's
Yeah.
knocked out.
and then I shall just as the all in one motion I will just I will advance. I'm assuming I will
Can we see?
That's about as
yeah.
far as you would be able to get.
Yeah.
What can I see?
So as you step around in that tunnel, you see a man that's his clothes are kind of dirty, but they're a lot finer than most people you've met, and another guard standing with him. There's
Me
some
too?
tumbled rocks.
No, this is me.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's some tumbled rocks blocking the rest of the pathway, and they both seem to be cursing under their breath. As they're turning around, they've been like in a heated argument, staring at this rubble. It would now be Carrick's turn.
What's this guy holding?
He's just got a pickaxe as well.
Boo.
Intimidate. No, no, I'm not gonna kill him. Intimidation, drop it, and just don't get any ideas, sunshine.
Roll your intimidation.
Here we go. Yeah.
As you
Okay.
say that, he like holds his pickaxe out towards you, like defensively, like step back. I know how to use this. Don't make me do it. He is defiant.
Defiant, you say?
Yeah, he rolled a crit to resist your intimidation. So he is a brave soul.
Impressive.
For a peasant, it was pretty impressive.
I can't warn him a second time, because who does that shit?
Good.
Okay, I will say, this is your last chance, or you will fucking die. Can I do another intimidation under? Is that allowed?
He
could say
since
that
he
you-
rolled a crit, he's
No.
not backing down no matter what you do. There'd be no point.
Fuck him anyway then.
You don't have to attack him.
I don't have to
Like
attack.
you
I don't-
could just like there are situations where like just because he's not backing down doesn't mean that he's going to attack you. Like you could just sort of hold your ground and see what he does.
Alright, okay.
Can you
I
do
will-
like can you go into like a defensive stance or anything?
Some
Andre?
classes can.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you think it's the monk? The monk can go into different stances like dodge, where they can't attack, but anyone trying to attack them, it makes it harder.
Oh, okay.
I'll just talk to him and go, you're brave, I'll give you that. But don't try nothing and no harm will come to you.
So
Unless
how you're gonna end your turn?
I wanna see, just sort of look past him, what the hell is down this tunnel in front of him.
From
Just
what you can see,
the guy legging it.
No, he can't even see the guy legging it. He is long gone at this point. He booked it out of their top speed. I need to mark this guy is fucking dead. He is dead.
I was just looking at that, just like, yes, he is definitely fucked.
Yeah,
So how many
he's dead at
people's up
this
here?
point. He's
Just-
bled out.
So there's only one person up here.
There's that guy, and then there's the other dude to his left. In the
Why did
fancier
you see-
clothes.
I only see one person.
There
Okay.
is two people. There's
Alright.
clearly two people right there.
I only
Yeah,
see
there's one like right here.
Oh wait, that's a person?
Yeah,
It's a guy with the cloak and a hat on.
yeah. What'd you think it was?
Fuck, I had no idea. It's just a pile of trash.
So it's like, that's a bag of gold, right?
Okay, so as like that's your turns ended, you've done your best to intimidate this poor peasant here, and seeing your sign of like you didn't attack him,
Yes.
and what you've done to the guy he was arguing with, this peasant takes his brave moment and takes a swing for the side of your head with his
You're
pickaxe.
a dick. I knew I should kill him.
So he swings it back, get a good big arc, and you just hear tink as he lodges the pickaxe over his shoulder into the rock behind him. He rolled a 1.
Dick.
So he's like stuck in the rock. You can see him tugging on the pickaxe, trying to get it out to swing at you. Above you, though, down the tunnel, these other two have turned round, and they're now looking down the tunnel at you. This, like kind of like the ruffian-looking dude that's closer to you. He seems pretty beefy. He's a big guy, and he seems slightly better equipped than the other ones you've seen so far. He just holds his club. Well, his isn't really a club, it's more of a mace. And he just holds it up. He's like, the fuck you doing in our mine? Get out now. And nothing will come of it. The other guy's just kind of sitting back behind him with his arms folded. And he's got a little small pair of glasses pinched onto his nose. And you can see he's got hair on the side of his head. The top of his head is bald and covered by a hat that he's currently like, holding over his mouth and nose from the dust.
I've business with your boss, big man. Now step out of the side before I have to hurt you.
You just hear him like crack his knuckles. He lifts up his mace, cracks his knuckles. You're not getting a single step further in this mine. I'll smash your brains across this floor and drag your corpse out and toss it down the mountain.
So be it.
Always has to be the hard way. I draw my 2 swords.
He's ready for you. That's his turn.
Oh.
Oh, let us roll intimidations against each other.
Oh,
To see
intimidation.
if you're more intimidating than him or if he's more intimidating than you. Might shake you in your boots a little bit. Let me see. So you can tell the playing field for the intimidation was pretty even. Like the way you feel right now is how he feels. Not really put off by it.
Alrighty.
The guy in the back, you can see he's looking kind of worried. He's like backing up a little bit into the corner, muttering something to the man in front of him.
Don't let them take me.
So it is now your turn. This guy, like that, you scared to drop his pickaxe. He's running.
Fucking.
He's using his entire movement to get the fuck out. So it is now your turn.
Right, I'm just gonna straight up engage this guy.
Go for it.
And hit him with the on sword.
Make your attack.
Oh,
That
damn.
is a hit.
Okay, that,
Roll your
that is
damage.
decent.
Total of 4 damage. So you swing out with your blade, and you swing out, and on the lower end of the cut, it like cuts across the top of his left leg, leaving a nice gash, starting to stain his clothes red with his blood. Grits his teeth a bit and just looks up at you, locking eyes.
Okay, and then can I hit him with my other one now?
Yep, you can throw the second attack with your dagger.
Oh, dagger.
was it
I had
not-
two
Oh
short
yeah, you've got 2
swords.
short swords. That is also a hit then, yes.
And then
Now this is
Another
without
hit.
your damage bonus, which is a
Uh,
roll of a 1.
Uh-oh.
1 plus 3. So this one, like you've swung at him, you go for a thrust in, but it kind of just pokes into his leather. Probably left a bit of bruising, maybe cracked a rib, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
He then grits his teeth, lifts his mace up, swings it round. Or no, it is Macaulay's turn. What do you want to do?
This fucking retard.
So you can see in the corner of your eye, like, this guy in front of you has took a swing, and you hear voices behind you where Barrick walked off to. So what are you going to do?
This retard, has he got his pickaxe, like, fully stuck?
Oh yeah, it's lodged in there good.
What's he doing? Is
He's
he
tugging on
chasing
it.
me?
He's trying to get it out.
Fuck him.
Oh, you're
How
burning up
How
to
far was that?
engage. You
If
could
I-
get up into combat if you wanted
Yeah.
to.
could he see me from
Oh
there?
yeah, they know you're there.
Okay. Right, just like for that extra damage, because he's a bit beefy, we will engage with my dual wield. Oh, I can't do wield. I threw my dagger, so I will have to single wield. I
You
will.
have 2 daggers.
Do I?
You
What
should.
do I do? I will dual wield.
And your other dagger is in this area somewhere. That's where you threw it.
Yeah. Okay. I will do. I will attack with a short sword.
Make your attack roll.
Oh damn!
That is a critical hit. So now, just click for the damage. So
Wait, what? Why
that's
is
it.
that one
That's it.
different?
Rolling
the
the
crit.
crit.
nice.
So 4 plus.
Jesus.
13.
Yep.
I get a D6.
And then
you
plus
know,
a
And then your
D6.
D6. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, only
2.
Mhm.
So with your first swing, like you get a good stab in, goes straight through what must be a weaker part of his leather armor, straight into his side. He lets out a grunt, and then steps back, getting the blade. Like takes a step back to get the blade out of his side. This guy is still standing. He is not your run-of-the-mill commoner.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's a lot of damage, though.
You do have your offhand though.
Here we go. Dagger attack.
That is a hit. Damage time. And
Oh,
that is
damn.
without the 3, so it is 3 damage. And I do not know if you can do sneak attack on multiple attack rolls, but I should
I
check.
would say probably not.
I shall find out. Because it's the kind of thing that could sway the combat one way or the other.
Yes.
Just gotta find the page. Sneak attack. Oh, it says to one creature you hit with an attack. So it's 1 attack a turn.
That's fine.
So
That's what I thought it
that
was gonna be.
is the damage you've dealt. This guy, like, you bring your dagger around, going for a slash across his legs, you nick the side of his already injured leg. You can see the blood starting to stream down, staining his clothes even more. But he lets out a grunt, takes a step back, and then swings in with a heavy mace strike,
Ooh,
going
shit.
for
Not looking too good there.
Carrick
PJ.
first.
Oh, me first. Okay.
Yes.
I'm on 10 HP. I'm gonna fucking die.
He definitely gets a hit there with a 21.
Bastard.
And as the blade, well, as the mace swings round, it gets you on the shoulder. As you've like swung in to stab, he smacks you across the shoulder with the mace, dealing 5 damage.
Fuck.
And then this is no ordinary, like, random dude. With the momentum of that, he then brings it around a second time, swinging for Barrack this time. He has 2 attacks. He gets a 13, which does not hit. It swings around. As you step back to try and dodge out of the way, you can feel the tip of the mace kind of slide across the leather chest piece you're wearing, and then
Maybe, like,
slam into the
Slams into the
Yeah,
cave wall.
slams
Chips
into
a
it.
bit of the rock.
Yeah, onto the floor.
Damn.
I just lets out a little growl like, "Rah! Get out of my fucking cave before I smash your fucking heads in." So the guy in the back, you can see him looking scared, but as he's looking scared, you kind of see his hands moving in front of his chest, and there's a small sparkle, like a little kind of bluish, like,
It's only a hand grenade.
yeah, like a little kind of sky, like icy blue sparkle between his hands. And you both need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh god, he's got dynamite. Shit.
Okay, so as you're in the middle of this fight, let me see. He throws his hand out and chucks some sort of. It's like a little round glowing object with a sparkling top. Lands in between you, like in between all 3 people. And looking down, Carrick and the guy you're fighting don't really notice like what's happened. They don't react quick enough as this explosion just echoes in straight into your ears, knocking you all against the wall. Barrick saw it in time, was able to dodge, still gets hit with part of the impact, but not as much as the others. Oh, for fuck's sake. I rolled double ones. So, Carrick takes 2 damage,
Fuck, I'm on 3.
and
I take 1.
Barrick takes 1 damage since you avoided most of it. And the big guy, he also takes 2 damage. But you're all knocked back slightly. And you're already just slammed into the wall. Hurts slightly more. And you now need to make a constitution saving throw, or you will be stunned.
Shit.
Where do I do a constitution save? Do I just click on constitution?
There's a
Saving
little bit.
throws. Saving
To
throw
like
section.
open a sheet. There's a bit to the right of dexterity where you should have taken dexterity and a taken intelligence.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so I shall now roll for big guy. Okay, so as this goes off, there's also a very, like, it's a big boom, bright flash.
Ears ringing.
Yes,
Flashback.
your ears are ringing, your vision is blurry. You're all stunned, which means for the next round, you can't move, you can't make reactions. And he just fucking starts booking it. He runs past you all. You can, like, hear him running. Well, you can't really hear him, but you kind of see in your blurry vision this figure rushing by. But you can't react because you're stunned.
Yeah.
And you hear, as your hearing starts to clear, the footsteps are echoing down the tunnel, and your vision starts to clear, the ringing in your ears starts to clear up, and it is now Beric's turn. You're all now clear from the stun. And as you like reopen your eyes and rub the dust out of them, you see that
He's
like
gone.
the brute in front of you is still there, but the man that was behind him has now scuttled off down the tunnel behind you.
Carrick, get after him. I've got the big man. Ma!
So you rush into the combat.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do first as you rush in?
Damn it.
I shall hit him with the swords.
Go for your attack. I will say he's probably still stunned, so roll advantage on them. Just roll again for that one. Okay, so that is one hit.
Will I do damage for this one?
Yeah, do damage. So that is 6 damage. And then your second attack.
Don't roll advantage.
Yeah, don't for it, because I'll do it like the 9 and then whatever this next one is. Yeah, so that is also a hit. So it is minus the 3. That was a 6.
12 damage.
So you swing your first blade in, slashing it across his chest. It doesn't penetrate through his leather, but it probably leaves like a big bruise on his chest. And then thrusting of the second blade, finding an opening just under his arm and piercing up, like into the armpit, out through his shoulder. I just falls limp from the pain of your blade just splicing straight through the bones of his shoulders, and
Quick question.
falls
as a-
onto his full weight.
I know it's probably not that important, but he doesn't get an extra d6 here because I am.
I know,
away.
yeah. He wouldn't have needed it.
We wouldn't have needed it. Fair enough.
So like his weight is now like leaning onto your blade.
Just pull that shit out and back up.
He is
Let him drop
unconscious.
to the floor.
Okay, I can probably get about that far back to there.
Well, I don't want to be that far back because I want to
Finish him.
search him.
Okay.
Well, I want to finish him off and then search him.
It is now Carrick's turn. So what do? You can normally move 30 feet, and then if
He's
you
moving the
void
full-
your action, you can get
Avoid
there.
action,
You
just go. Pursue.
So you just keep sprinting after him, like as he's ran, and your vision slowly begins to clear. You sprint after him. Looks like you're gaining on him. Roll me an athletics check. See if you're faster than him.
Fuck me.
Oh yeah, so it looks as though you're gaining, but in his fear he looks around and he sees you, and he pulls ahead, running the rest of the way out of the cave, out of the mine.
Out.
Yeah, he's out through the doors, grabbing one of them and like swinging it back to try and close them as he runs out. Clearly, mortally afraid. That is his full turn. It is now Beric. Now that you have
I
slain
shall-
this guy.
Oh, is he like dead?
No, he's knocked out. If you want to kill him, you can.
End him.
Yeah, I'll finish him off.
Okay, so you just slide that blade through the throat and
Oh,
let him
yeah.
die. Well,
Yeah.
he is now thoroughly dead.
Dead.
Give him a
Big
quick
pool of blood.
search.
Okay, So looking at him,
Fuck, I didn't
he
look over.
has some simple leather armor similar to your own. He does have just a standard looking mace. It's kind of a wooden shaft, steel club end on it.
Yeah.
There's not really anything else important looking other than his coin purse, which has 3 silver and 11 copper.
I shall take it and run.
Yes.
Because I killed him, does
Do you
that
want to-
count as an action? Right.
Do you want to take his mace or anything?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
You can run like half. Yeah, like you're 30.
Whoop. This guy's just standing here trying to pull
Yeah,
the
he's. I'll see if he can pull it out. Maybe he will. No, he's still pulling there. Like, got his eyes closed, straining against the pickaxe. Hasn't even noticed what else is happening yet.
Right.
And we will switch back to the outside one. Actually, I need to go.
Basically, just work at
Show you
that Macaulay's a turn
Pursue.
ahead of me. Because obviously he's ahead.
Okay, so
Beat him up a bit.
this guy is about. He's like just outside. Oh god, I think we were both trying to move there. Oh yeah, so he's just got out and he is calling and screaming for help. Like, help! Help! They're trying to kill me! They're here to take my life! Somebody please! And that is his turn as he runs outside.
Are
And
we like? Am I saying that I'm like an action behind Macaulay?
yeah, so
'Cause-
it would be Macaulay, then you, just to make this easy.
Okay.
It's like the order you're all getting outside. So, just roll athletics, Macaulay. If you can roll high enough, you'll be able to get into, like, actual. Okay, you can get right up to him.
Don't go.
You won't be able to attack him because this would have been a full-out sprint to reach him at this point. But you've now got into like close range because he's stopped just outside, calling for help.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's like
Taller than me?
5'3", shorter than you. Like stumpy man, kind of stout looking. Well, by stout I mean kind of tubby.
At this point, don't want any weapons in my hand after I've just, like, run the 100-meter race. Put my arm around him while I was saying, try put my hand over his mouth.
You're gonna try and grapple him. Roll a
This is
strength check.
And I'd like to trip him up, but, we'll see. Ah, oh, that's a save. Is that wrong? Strength save.
It would have been the same thing.
Oh,
It's still -1 to it. So you run out, try and like tackle him to grab onto him, but he turns around and sees you are coming and steps to the side as you stumble past, trying to reach for him, but you don't fall over.
Okay, I just wanted to grab him.
Do you want to say anything as you stumble by?
Ah!
Shut up, you damn cunt, or it'll be the last word you'll ever say. Beach.
Roll some
that mean-
intimidation.
Here we go.
See if you're scary enough to do anything. As you say that, he glares back to you, and you fire in his eyes. Just shouts out, "You'll hang for this! I'll see that you swing!" and he is reaching to his side and pulling out his his own blade. But it now is Beric's turn.
Rugby tackle his ass.
Can I like actually go to him like and attack him, or
If
am I
you
just?
roll some athletics, if
I'm gonna
it's
say, I'm just gonna say myself that I've literally just reached the door, and that's like the end of my. Because I was a brave bit behind.
yes, you've reached the door, so now goes to his turn. Do you want to say anything as you approach?
Give it up, old man. Enough blood has been spilt today.
Evidently,
In his eyes, you can see he's panicked but defiant. As he ran out, he's already saw these like, the pools of blood over on the other side of the warehouse. And as he's looking around, trying to work out what his next plan of action is, need to move these guys over here. Two of his other guards come running out, not from this house, but from further over in the town. They've heard the shout and they've used their full turn to sprint just into your view, coming over around the side of the storage. As he's like just drawn his sword, he then takes a swing with his blade at Carrick.
It's been a nice campaign, boys.
You keep saying that like every time somebody attacks you.
Wait, am I not supposed to be on lower than 7 health?
I think so. You're on
I'm
like
supposed to be
3, I
like-
think.
I think I'm supposed to be on like 3, yeah.
I'm on 10, so I'm gonna lower mine myself.
He swings for you. Oh yeah, it's because your health never changed, switching back between the maps. He swings for you with his blade, slashing. Let's see. So he swings it at you, but it's not a very strong swing. It just catches your arm slightly, grazing the skin, leaving you with a single. No, not 1 point of health. Dealing 1 point of damage to you.
Oh, lovely. I'm about to die if I can.
And he's like kind of keeping close to you as he swings to get further away.
Are you
keep-
trapped in a corner?
He doesn't want to be trapped in the corner. So he's staying close so you can't like just strike out at him as he runs. He's keeping close and attacks you to keep you at bay. Swinging with the sword, just slashing your arm. It is now your turn.
It's my turn.
Carrick's turn.
Oh.
As he gets attacked. What is your move?
He's holding the sword.
Take him alive, Carrick!
Oh, no, I'm not gonna. I don't want to kill him. So I'm gonna have to I have to punch him.
No, like you can still use your weapon.
As long as you specify non-lethal damage.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I thought
Like you
just
can
did
use
damage.
you can say I want to disarm him, and then you'll just use
Oh.
the attack damage as sort of like a disarmament.
Well, that's pretty much what I wanted. Yeah, we'll go with disarmament.
Roll a strength check.
God damn it!
So you try to disarm his blade from him.
Could he
But-
not have did that just as an attack?
The attack would be to like deal actual damage. There's an ability that you get as like a 10th level fighter that actually gives you the ability to attack and disarm.
Okay.
So it would need to be just trying to get the blade off him. But this guy is surprisingly good with his sword. So he keeps you at bay, stopping you from like striking his blade off. But you still can use your offhand. Since it's kind of an attack.
Can't stab him.
Well, as long as you don't kill him.
And you could stab him.
Yeah, like
Just don't Kill him.
Final
Like
stab
if
in the
the other
long
guy, like
dagger.
Jacob, like sliced into his arm, but then you guys bandaged it up and he lived. And then you broke the other guy's fucking wrist and he survived barely.
Twice.
Oh, so you have hit him. Roll your damage. And this is without the bonus it'll give you.
Wait, oh, hang on.
Oh
sorry.
yes, that's some heavy damage.
So that is a 4. That is the max you could have got. And as you like thrust in with your dagger, it scrapes. You can hear the scraping sound of steel on steel as it slides along his chest and then digs into his side. And you can see that under his fine clothes he does have like a breastplate hidden underneath. Do you wanna say anything as you've now stabbed him in the side?
Drop it. Is he old?
He's about 40s.
And I am 20 something.
Yeah, you're like half his age.
Drop it, old man. This is your last warning. Yeah, it'll do.
You can try and intimidate him.
Intimidation.
Crit.
Ooh.
Oh. Let's see here. Oh god.
He rolled
He-
a 20, didn't he?
No, he rolled a 1.
He's just pissing himself. Just like
So-
sees the blood.
As you've said, his hand like reaches down to his side, pulls away, and he sees the blood in his hand. And then you see that his breeches, where they were light, start to get darker and a patch
Jesus.
around his legs.
He soiled himself.
As he kind of staggers back like a step or two, and he's shaking, and drops his weapon. It is now
What was
Beric's
his
turn.
weapon? A short sword? Or?
Short sword.
Okay.
I seen this happen. Rush over, with my sword out, grab him, and like put the sword to his throat. And are these guys moving? Are these guys moving in?
Oh yeah. Yeah, as this was all happening, they're like mid-run trying to get there.
It's like, drop your arms, or you'll have a dead man to pay you.
Roll a. So you're trying to grab him, yeah? I think he's so scared that he wouldn't even be able to resist you grabbing him.
He ain't got no weapon
So
neither.
roll some advantage intimidation against these guys because you have leverage. Oh,
Ooh.
18. 18 is good. Oh my fucking. Okay, I need the screenshot.
Did you roll ones again?
No, I rolled double 19s.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
Damn, son.
That's without any bonuses too. Can I just like paste? No, I can't paste it there.
Double 90. Oh my god.
To the
fucking
sheep
warm
chat.
in my room.
Double 19s. For both of them. So,
Freaking heck.
Jesus.
I've got really lucky with some of these. So, as you've shouted that out, you can see in their eyes that these guys do not care if you kill them in front of them or not. They won't be affected by it at all. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
Try
Can
not
I
to.
order? Tell them to drop their arms, old man.
He is so stricken with fear, he's not even listening to you.
Either
Like he's
throw
he's
him or
he's physically shaking, absolutely terrified. Like he knows how to fight, but he's never fought like in an actual fight before. So he's probably never saw his own blood, and he's gone. Like that's it. He's
Yeah.
not getting a turn the rest of this engagement.
You can't try to knock him out.
Oh, you could if you want.
I'll just.
Or throw him up
Is
against
he
the
like
wall or something.
completely gone to the wind?
Like he's still conscious, but he's not taking anything that's happening in.
Like, is he like, for example,
If you wanted
Do
to
I have,
drag
do
him
I have
with
the
you,
opinion that I could just throw him against this building behind me
you
and
could
he
whatever
wouldn't
you
run
want to
off?
do to him. He's not gonna react.
Knock his ass out.
I'll throw him behind me, uh, against the wall of this building, and just move when you're dead.
So
Even though he probably can't hear me say that, but I mean,
you like pull him around, shove him to the building. He just stumbles over his own feet, falls head first towards the wall, just whacks his head off it, taking d6 damage. Takes 2. So you just hear the thunk of his head hitting the wall as he collapses onto the
I
ground.
shall advance, prepare to take this charge.
So these two, as it goes to their turn, they're like there's something about these ones that you didn't see in the other ones where they're of a darker sort that like just a bit more on the evil side than the other people that were hired. So one of them moves into cover. I really shouldn't be using guys with swords. I just wanted different ones. But this one in the cover, he's got a sword to his side and a crossbow on his back that he pulls out. And the other one just has his sword as he runs
Wait,
forward.
what did your one guy have in the cover?
He has a crossbow and a blade. The other one that's running closer to you has just the sword. So he runs like just in here. And looking at the guy with the crossbow, takes a shot at the closer one who threatened him of killing the old man he doesn't care about. And I will need to find the thing.
Shitfire!
I'll just roll the attack, see if it even hits. Let's see. Oh yes, he hits.
Son of a bitch.
Just need to work out the damage for his crossbow. Because the thing I'm using does not have crossbow, but I'm giving him a crossbow. Okay, so let's see. There we go. So the bolt flies in and it catches you in your left thigh, piercing straight through your clothes into your leg, just missing the bone, dealing 4 points of damage.
Jeez.
Oh, that was not the right number. You can
Yes, that was
you can
close.
tell from the size of bolt that hit you, and from what you can see, this is a bigger crossbow than you have, more similar to the crossbow that the other guy had.
Yeah.
And that is their turn. You can see him loading in a second bolt. It is Carrick's turn.
Let's end this.
Right.
So what do you do?
How far is it? 40 feet.
Gank him!
Yeah, you could if you want.
I'll make it to this guy, so let's go over to here. Do a long short sword attack. Diddle-did-it.
That is a hit. Roll your damage. Oh god, you're rolling so high on damage, it's insane. So you swing your blade in. You get a good thrust, like up through the side of his leather where it ties on the side, just up in through into his side. He's still on his feet, but it's not gonna take much more to knock him down. You can take your
Dagger.
second attack.
Dagger.
God damn, that is another
piercing.
hit.
By the gods.
And without the 3, that is 2 damage. and you swing the dagger for his neck, just clipping him along the chin, leaving him like he's on the verge of passing out. Like a blow of wind and he would fall over. There's not much fight left in him. It is not. Well, do you want to say anything as you've attacked?
Just blow out him a little. He'll fall over.
Well, it
So-
is now Beric's turn.
I sword and dagger drawn. I shall charge,
Okay.
and I shall attack him with the sword attack, which
That
is
is a hit.
damage. Yes.
Oh, you you run in, drop down low, bring the blade up to his stomach, and just slide it across the leather, digging in, slicing through into his side, taking him down onto the ground with you. Like you're just like
Nice.
kind of dropped to a knee, sliced. And now you can use
I
your
will just leave the short sword in him,
oh,
and then go for the throw with the dagger
go for it.
at the next guy. Which is a
That
hit
is another hit.
damage, so that's
That
one
would be
damage.
3.
Or
Because it's
three.
a +3. So your dagger flies across just over the boxes and crates that he's hiding behind, and the pommel just slams into the side of his face, leaving a cut and some blood trickling down the side of his head as he swings around, getting his crossbow ready. So
Come on then, you cunt! If you fucking dare!
you see as the crossbow, he's just got the bolt in, he aims it down, lets loose a bolt for Carrick, as like you're partially blocked by this falling body that you've slain. The bolt flies out for Carrick, hits on a 21. Oh, does 10 points of damage. So Carrick has just come in, cut this guy up, and then as you've come in and finished him up, the bolt flies in, catches him like just like between where your shoulder is and like your chest, catches him right there, like in the collarbone on the right side. The impact knocking him back a couple steps before he falls down flat onto his back. You can't tell if he's dead or alive, but I'll just let you know that the only way to outright die from an attack is if you take minus your total health. So
Yeah.
if Macaulay had took 12 points of damage, he would've been dead.
That was very close.
That was like the max he could have done. Rolled an 8 plus 2. So now what'll happen is every time it comes to your turn, you roll a death saving throw. Just a d20, nothing added to it. If it's below 10, you get a mark for death. If it's above 10, a mark for life. If you get 3 marks for death, you die. 3 marks for life, you're okay. If you roll a 1, that's 2. If you roll a 20, that's 2. So it's every time it's your turn.
Is it my go again?
Yes, it is your go. Well,
As
it's technically Carrick's go, so you now need to roll a d20, Mackay. To see
Locksack.
No.
that is
That's
one
to death.
death. We'll use this red dot. It is now Beric's turn. You know, you've just saw this. He just
You
gets
son of a bitch!
just falling flat onto his back. No time to
I
react.
run towards him. As I leave this guy's corpse, I just pull my short sword out of his body,
Yeah,
draw my other short sword, and just enter into combat.
make your swings. Oh, that is barely a hit. Any lower and you would have missed. 5 points of damage. Damn. So
Shit.
that is a second hit,
1 second.
and that is 5. So I'll do a thing that like the campaign that I've been watching online does. So anytime there's like a big fight, if someone gets the killing blow on the boss character, or like the last enemy after a tough fight, you pretty much get to describe whatever way you want to do it. So whatever you want to happen to this guy can happen to this guy.
Oh, wow, if I killed him, have I?
Yeah, he is dead.
I run over. Oh, well, maybe I'll wait until Macaulay comes back.
God damn it.
Means I'll be able to think of a cool cinematic ending.
Yes, to the last enemy in the combat. Now there he is. Welcome back.
Really,
so
really happy change.
I charge over. Do
Oh, he did.
this is Sparta kick. And kick him into the crate behind him, and then just decapitate him with both my short swords.
Okay, so this is based on the terrain. What would happen is you saw Carrick just plummet to the ground after taking a crossbow bolt. With anger in your eyes, you just rush this guy, vault over the cover he's behind, and mid-vault just fucking square in the chest, kick him back, drops his crossbow, stumbles back, hits into like a creative ore that he knocks over, and as you land, you just like spring up, blades from either side, and just fucking scissors straight across his neck. And for a second, you think you might have missed, and then the head just slowly topples off onto the ground, rolling towards you, blood just spurting everywhere.
And then I just kick the fucking head out of the storage house into the street.
Nice.
What did you do to him?
Oh, I
Brutalized him.
Fucked him up.
Fucked him up.
Did 10 damage with the 2 attacks.
Right. Can I go and try to stabilize
You
Karen?
can indeed. That requires some medicine check. And you know how those go.
Do I have to make a death saving throw?
Not
Any
yet.
point here?
Not yet.
Actually, can I? Can I even do
Oh.
much when I was here?
We're out of combat, so you'll be able to
Alright.
do it.
I can go.
Stabilize!
Okay,
Right.
so like knowing that like pulling something from a wound is bad, you break off the bolt, bandage as best around it you can with some cloth you ripped from the guy behind you, and then bandage the rest of his bleeding wounds. And from what you can tell, he isn't gonna bleed out and die. He is okay.
I'll have a look around, just make sure no one else is coming, and I have to roll perception for that.
No, there's no one else.
Okay.
Like you can pretty clearly tell that there's nobody left.
I'll try to bandage myself, saying I have a crossbow bolt in my broken leg.
Just do some more medicine. Oh yeah, you're inspired by the events, how like brutally you just murdered the people around you, and you've just wrapped yourself up pretty good, bandaged. Anybody else that you've like stabbed, like this guy behind you, he is now dead as well. He's bled out. The little farmer at the rake, he is also bled out while you were in the mine. Everybody else inside that got stabbed is also dead. But before you get to speak to the shaking, sniveling, most likely crying old man on the ground. We should stop and save that for next time. Leave you on a
Yeah.
cliffhanger.